This page is the cover of SEGA Saturn magazine from 1998, prominently featuring a CGI character likely related to the game D2. The cover highlights two major special features: an in-depth look at the game D2, including new screens, and an interview with the Warp development staff, and extensive 20-page coverage on Sega's new hardware, the Dreamcast, exploring its potential. Other Sega Saturn titles featured on the cover include strategy guides for Super Robot Wars, Final Chapter, and Revolutionary Girl Utena, along with mentions of upcoming releases or coverage for games like Jake Hunter Detective Story, At the End of a Dream, Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, Langrisser V, and Zara War 2. The cover also lists the date, June 19, 26th, and the special price of 420 yen. This page features a large orange graphic shaped somewhat like the letter D, dominating the upper left portion of the page. Towards the bottom left, the instantly recognizable red spiral logo of the Sega Dreamcast is displayed. To the right of the spiral, black text reads, "Coming in U," strongly suggesting this is a teaser page leading into the feature on Sega's new console, highlighting its upcoming arrival. This serves as an exciting visual cue for readers anticipating the extensive coverage on the Dreamcast promised by the magazine. The next page features a large orange number 2 on the left, paired with the text Inter 1998 at the bottom, indicating a reference to Winter 1998, potentially signifying the season or issue number. On the right side, vertical Japanese text reads, which is a formal expression translating to something like, "Thank you in advance," or "We appreciate your continued support." This serves as a formal closing message to the readers. The bottom right corner includes the contact information for Warp Inc., the publisher, along with their logo represented by the letters W.A.R.P. inside stylized TV screens. This page acts as a concluding statement from the magazine, likely following a feature or section, tying in the time period and thanking the audience. The June 19th and 26th, 1998 issue of Sega Saturn magazine, Volume 19, features contents outlining the issue's focus. The primary feature, beginning on page 154, is a comprehensive preview of the then unreleased Dreamcast, titled Dreamcast: The Possibility of That Dream. It includes analysis, interviews about the SATURN CPU, discussions with key developers from Capcom and Sega M3, and developer perspectives. Page 18 introduces D2, the first announced Dreamcast title, showcasing gameplay, interviews, and the game's visual world. The issue also includes a special report, page 30, on several popular titles, including Sakura Wars 2, Slayers Royal 2, Lunar 2, Langrisser V, and Deep Fear. It also covers Let's Become the Coach of the Japanese National Team and The Legend of Heroes in 2. This page serves as the table of contents and game index for the issue. It features sections highlighting new release titles, such as Sega Ages/Galaxy Force 2 and Initial D, along with Coming Soon Soft, like Code R, Find Love 2, and World Cup 98 France. The main body lists various articles and features throughout the magazine, including segments like The Reader's Corner, Capcom News, and coverage of titles like Gungriffon 2 and Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. The right-hand side provides a comprehensive game index, alphabetically listing a wide array of Sega Saturn games covered in the issue with page references. This index includes many key titles featured in special reports, such as Sakura Wars 2, Shining Force 2 I Scenario 2, Super Robot Wars F Final, Deep Fear, Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, and the Linda Cube Complete version. Prominently featured is an illustration of a character from D2, the highly anticipated Dreamcast title that received extensive coverage in this magazine issue. The article covers two primary topics: Sega's presence at E3 and the upcoming Sakura Wars stage show. At E3, Sega showcased the Windows version of Sega Rally Championship and announced the Dreamcast console would launch in fall '99 with a strong initial game lineup and third-party support. Visuals highlighted the Dreamcast's graphics potential. The second part announces the Imperial Review Flower Division appears in August. Summer Kaio show of the popular Sakura Wars series, scheduled for mid-August in Tokyo. The performance, centered on the play Tsubasa, features existing characters and introduces two new characters, expanding the series' lore. The article includes cast photos and ticket information. Sega fans enjoyed a flurry of events, A World Cup warm-up on June 14th featured soccer game tournaments. Next spring, Neo Geo World Tokyo will open, a new entertainment complex in Tokyo. Tokyo Joyopolis hosted a comedy hurricane from July 18th to August 30th with live comedy performances. The STCC Time Attack contest results were announced, showcasing racing game skills. Finally, X-Band offered a free chance Thanksgiving Day from June 20th to 21 Stone, allowing online play for free across various titles like Shadows of the Tusk, Virtua Fighter Remix, and more, aiming to boost online service engagement. This page delves into new releases for fans of Tokimeki Memorial, showcasing character goods hitting shelves on June 25th, including trading cards and postcards. There's even a chance to win some card packs. It also introduces Konami's official Konamaru stores located in Shinjuku, Ageo, and Umeda, which are the go-to spots for official Konami merchandise like exclusive telecards and character aprons. The page also features a lineup of recent music releases. Notably, it includes the original soundtrack for the visual novel Divided, which features music from the popular Even Burst Error and Desire series, essential listening for anyone who enjoyed those games on the Saturn. Other music highlights cover diverse artists like pop group Every Little Thing, rising star Ayumi Hamasaki with her second single, and the celebratory 10th anniversary album from Ulfals, touching on various genres from ballads to rock and Okinawan folk music. It's a nice mix of fan-favorite character goods and relevant game-related music. This page begins by highlighting the best-selling strategy guides for Super Robot Wars, Final Chapter, showing the diverse range of options popular among players needing help with this massive tactical RPG. The page reviews several guides for Super Robot Wars, Final Chapter from different publishers, each offering a distinct approach. Some focus on detailed system explanations and full story charts, ideal for understanding the game's mechanics and flow. Others provide comprehensive data tables, map strategies, and even details on hidden route conditions. Reviewers note variety, with guides focusing on beginner friendliness, extensive data, practical map tactics, or unique features like developer advice and trivia columns. The selection caters to different player needs, ensuring everyone can find a guide that fits their learning style. Beyond Super Robot Wars, the page looks at guides for other Saturn titles. The official guide for Darkstalkers 3, Vampire Savior, is reviewed, noted for including hidden techniques, though some text readability issues are mentioned due to the page design. For Sega Rally 2, the guide is praised for its practical driving tips and data, including details on clipping points and even a developer interview. Lastly, the guide for Gun Griffon 2 is commended for its highly detailed, almost simulation-like approach, covering weapon data, techniques, and combat logs, making it feel like an essential pilot's manual. This page presents the weekly SEGA Saturn Magazine data station, specifically the Shop Data section highlighting the top 15 best-selling software titles. It notes that this week sees the return of new releases, which are managing to climb the charts despite the relative quiet after recent hardware news. Leading the pack at number 1 is the new release, Super Real Mahjong P7. Following closely is another new title, Baroque, in second place, known for its unique world and depth. Moving up from last week, Super Robot Wars Final Chapter takes the third spot, a popular tactical RPG series. Fourth place goes to Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition, holding strong and pushing its cumulative sales past 200,000 units. The fifth spot is occupied by the new release, Multilancer Reinforces. The rest of the top 15 includes titles like Idol Janshi Final Romance 4, the ever-present Sakura Wars 2, Sakura Taisen 2, Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers 3, Shining Force 2 I Scenario 2, the new strategy game Shadows of the Tusk, The King of Fighters 97, Sakura Wars, SEGA Saturn Collection, Sentimental Graffiti, Worldwide Soccer 98, and finally The House of the Dead. Screenshots are displayed for several titles, including Baroque, Super Robot Wars F, Giren's Ambition, Multilancer, Final Romance 4, Sakura Wars 2, Vampire Savior, Shining Force 2I, Shadows of the Tusk, and The House of the Dead, showcasing the variety of genres represented in the rankings. The accompanying text often includes brief comments on the game's popularity or features. This article examines gaming trends through two lenses: console desires and arcade popularity. The first section, User Data Top 20. SEGA Saturn want to convert, details SEGA Saturn owners' wish list for ported games. They desired titles like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quests, and arcade hits, including Virtua On and Marvel vs. Capcom, reflecting diverse player interests. The article acknowledges that some requests, due to their unlikely nature, were purely wishful thinking. The second section, Show Up! Arcade Video Games Shop Data Top 15, reveals the arcade scene's top games. Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Tekken 3, and Virtua On were popular. The article highlighted Street Fighter X2, newly released with enhanced gameplay, as a key game. Other arcade staples like Beatmania and Time Crisis 2 were also successful, showcasing the vibrancy of the coin-operated game market. The SEGA Saturn User Data Top 30 survey reveals the most anticipated software. Virtua Fighter 3 remains at number 1, with speculation about its future on the Dreamcast. Tied for number 2 are Pia EU Koso 2 at 50% development, and Lunar 2, Eternal Blue at 80%, which showcases a new medal system. The list continues with games like Resident Evil 2 and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. A pickup check game. Let's become the manager of the Japan national team. World's first soccer RPG at number 15, nearing completion at 95%. And other check. Coming soon. Section previews Black/Matrix at number 6, and World Cup 98 France Road to Win at number 32, timed for the upcoming World Cup. This page presents the complete SEGA Saturn release schedule, giving us a clear look at what's confirmed and what's on the horizon for the console. It's broken down by month, covering recent releases from June, July, and August, and looking forward to September, November, and beyond, including a substantial list of titles marked as undecided. The schedule provides key details for each game: its release date, title, price, the publisher responsible, its genre, using abbreviations like ACT for action, RPG for role-playing, etc., explained in the legend, and compatible peripherals or features. This is the go-to source for Saturn fans wanting to know what's coming next, from big-name sequels to niche genres, giving us a comprehensive overview of the console's software pipeline. This page features a perfect guide for the highly anticipated strategy RPG Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, showcasing an impressive assembly of iconic mechs from series like Evangelion, Space Runaway Ideon, Gundam, Mazinger Z, Getter Robo, Daytarn 3, and many more. The game pits the hero team, Lund Bell, against powerful enemy forces to protect Earth. The guide itself is touted as having unprecedented super volume, promising a complete understanding of the game within its pages. Key highlights include detailed strategy flowcharts, a massive increase in map strategy pages, doubled, a significant boost in data completeness, 200% up, and revelations about hidden events. This 296-page, full-color guide is presented as the definitive resource for mastering this fan-favorite masterpiece, offering a thorough strategy to navigate its challenges. It was published by SoftBank. This page features the weekly reader ranking survey, where SEGA Saturn owners rate all release software on a 10-point scale. The average score, or odds, determines the rankings, which are published here. This week's list covers all 996 Saturn games released as of June 5th. The core of the page is the extensive ranking table. The top games this week include Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die at number 1, Super Robot Wars F, Final Chapter holding strong at number 2, and Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World at number 3. Mobile Suit Gundam. Giren's Greed has dropped to number 4, as highlighted in a side panel which notes that, while it fell from the top 3, Yuno remains a dominant force. Other notable high-ranking titles are Shining Force 2 I Scenario 1 and Street Fighter 03. The table shows each game's current and previous week's rank, genre, and average score. The commentary suggests this week saw relatively stable rankings, perhaps a quiet period before a rush of new releases. It highlights the shifts in the top contenders like Giren's Greed, and the continued strength of established hits like Umino. This week's reader rankings highlight new and rising software. Adventure game, Roommate 3, Ryoko on the Shining Morning Wind, earned a high 9.2 reader score, 41st place, lauded for improvements, though magazine reviews were lower. Several outside contenders followed. Nightruth #03, Only Two Truths, 366th, scored 7.78, but struggled due to story inaccessibility. Cross Romance, Love, Mahjong, and Hanafuda, 595th, 6.5, was enjoyable but slow. Pachinko Simulations, Heiwa Pachinko Total Advance, 658th 5.9, and Gekiretsu PA Chinkers, 662nd 5.833, were also featured. I Miss You, 678th 5.64, featured minigames aimed at compile fans, mainly. Cat the Ripper the 13th Detective, 690th 5.47, had atmosphere but suffered from high difficulty and loading times. This page continues the extensive weekly reader rankings for SEGA Saturn software, presenting a long list of games ranked by reader scores, along with their genres. The next page continues the weekly reader ranking chart for SEGA Saturn software, listing various games and their genres. The main feature this week highlights the romance-adventure game Tsuchipai Adventure, Doki Doki Nightmare. The soft data section shows it received a reader score of 9.1377 and a magazine score of 8.0. The reviewer discusses their enjoyment of the game, appreciating its lighthearted nature, fun characters, and well-done voice acting, even for someone who typically focuses on game mechanics. There is a note celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Tsuchipai series, mentioning its origins on the Super Famicom. A reader comment praises the game's story, system, graphics, and hidden elements, finding it highly immersive and enjoyable. The development staff also provides a message thanking users for their support and encouraging them to recommend the game. Finally, a section notes a countdown, indicating 168 days remaining until the launch of the Dreamcast. This page features previews of upcoming games set to release in May, checked for speed. First up is Baroque, an RPG scoring 7.66 from the magazine's average. Reviewers found the content deep compared to its worldview, noting it can be mentally taxing but also rewarding, with impressive graphics and cutscenes. Next is Super Real Mahjong P7, a mahjong game with an average score of 7.33. It's described as enjoyable pure mahjong without distracting items, praising the character stories and clean animation, although the bonus quiz game is found lacking. Finally, Shadows of the Tusk, a simulation game scoring 5.33. The graphics are highlighted, and the content is well designed within its limited map size. Playing against others via modem sounds exciting, so much so that one reviewer is considering buying a modem just for this game. The page also includes reader comments under Voice of the High-Class Horse Owner, touching on topics like Dreamcast excitement and impressions of other games and peripherals. There's a weekly ranking of SEGA Saturn peripherals based on reader votes, showing top-rated items like joysticks and controllers. The page also announces upcoming reader contests, including predicting game ranking arrival order and game odds, with prizes like hardware sets and software. The next page puts the spotlight firmly on the upcoming Dreamcast title, D2. Dominated by a massive red Dyed 2 logo, the page announces the game, previously known as Diner 2, is coming to Sega's new hardware this winter. The page highlights that, with the arrival of D2, a new iteration of the character Laura is set to be born. It details the game's genre as action-adventure and provides a price point of 5,800 yen. The text explains that the game was revealed to a large audience of 10,000 people on May 23rd as part of Sega's new hardware presentation. The magazine promises to deliver the latest information on D2, including interviews with key figures like the CG designer Mr. Tateshi and Mr. Okawa of First Smile, who has composed music for Warp's games since EO. This clearly taps into the growing excitement for the Dreamcast mentioned on the previous page, showcasing a major title from a developer known for pushing boundaries. This page features a powerful portrait of the character Laura, who is set to appear in the upcoming Dreamcast title D2, as highlighted on the previous page. The image showcases her with blonde hair and intense blue eyes, wearing a red jacket and a scarf, radiating a sense of mystery and resolve. Accompanying the portrait is Japanese text that translates to "the smile that is lost" and "what lies ahead," hinting at the narrative themes and the potential emotional journey the character will undertake in the game. This imagery serves to deepen the intrigue surrounding D2 and the reimagining of Laura for Sega's new console. This page delves further into D2, focusing on the game's dramatic opening sequence. The page features screenshots depicting an intense scene aboard an airplane. The vertical red text on the left clearly labels this as the D2 opening. Large red text across the center translates to "suddenly frozen by tragedy," and "this hijacking is immediately setting a tone of crisis and suspense. The accompanying Japanese text elaborates on the scene. It describes the setting as Christmas 1999, where the game's opening takes place on a plane. Passengers, initially relaxed after takeoff, are thrown into chaos. The text specifically mentions Laura, the protagonist introduced on the previous page, being on this flight. She is said to fall asleep, but is awakened by turbulence. As she retrieves a dropped compact mirror, a voice suddenly echoes through the cabin, and she turns to see two men armed with machine guns, signaling the sudden hijacking that kicks off the game's narrative. The images powerfully capture this moment of terror and uncertainty. The next page continues our look at the dramatic opening of D2, emphasizing the bizarre and terrifying nature of the hijacking. The large red text proclaims that the situation exhibited an unusual state. Following the initial chaos described on the previous page, the text here reveals the chilling details. Passengers were caught in pure panic, though some adults attempted to remain composed, while a child's fear was palpable. The hijackers were not typical. Instead of demanding money or a destination, they screamed, "Pray!" One of the hijackers ruthlessly shot a flight attendant without hesitation, making it clear their machine guns were far from mere threats. The page notes how strange this form of terrorism felt, questioning if it was politically motivated. Amidst this terror, one man is observed remaining surprisingly calm. This is the man who picked up Laura's dropped compact mirror, and the text hints that he is about to perform a surprising action, setting the stage for the game's unfolding narrative. The accompanying screenshots capture the horror, from a frightened child to the view down the cabin aisle and the faces of fear and perhaps a mysterious calm. This page delves into the impressive technical aspects of D2, specifically focusing on its graphics and environment. Known in Japan as D's Diner 2, this 3D action game is praised for its detailed polygonal representation. The article highlights the significant polygon count used, even for elements like snow, which distinguishes between near and distant flakes. A major point of emphasis is the fully traversable 3D world. Unlike many games where distant objects were merely flat backgrounds, in D2, anything you see is a real part of the environment, allowing players to move freely and even climb mountains. The character model for Laura is also noted for its high detail, exceeding the quality seen in polygon fighting games of the era. The review expresses admiration for the dense use of polygons, creating a heightened sense of reality, lamenting that this realism is difficult to convey in still images. This level of environmental detail and freedom of movement represented a notable technical achievement for the time. This page expands on the features of D2, focusing on how players will navigate its vast, snowy environments and the dynamic nature of the world. While walking is the primary mode of movement for Laura, the challenging mountain terrain necessitates the use of vehicles. Shown here are several options. The trailer, useful for transporting goods and essential for survival in the deep snow. A lighter truck, potentially tied into specific game events or challenges. And the snowmobile, which offers fast traversal across open snowy plains, suggesting opportunities for more action-packed sequences. The article hints that how these vehicles are actually used in the game is still somewhat unclear, but their presence is confirmed. Another key concept highlighted is the progression of time. The game features a detailed day-night cycle, transitioning through morning, day, and evening, which is tied directly to gameplay time and the unfolding of the scenario. This dynamic time system promises to add immersion and potentially influence events. Finally, the page touches upon the detailed graphical representation of elements like trees in cold climates. These are rendered using multiple flat polygons with intricate textures, ensuring that the environment remains visually consistent and atmospheric regardless of camera perspective or zoom level, a testament to the game's strong technical presentation previously noted. This page features an interview with Mr. Tateshi, head of the CG development department at Warp, and referred to as Mr. Ifano's right-hand man, discussing the development of D2 following the world's premium show. He talks about the evolution of Laura's graphics across D, Enemy Zero, and D2, noting that while the fidelity improves, her image remains consistent. Mr. Tateshi emphasizes the focus on creating realistic snow graphics, stating that they use textures based on photographs from New Zealand, which heavily influenced the game's snowy environments. He also mentions influences from Canadian cities for the game's inhabited areas, and the harshness of Alaska impacting the design. Development on new hardware like the Dreamcast presented challenges, but he sees the CG team's role as providing the detailed graphical ingredients for the rest of the development team to build the complete game world. He stresses that D2 is about creating an immersive world, not just isolated graphical effects. This page features interviews with key figures behind D2's development. The main focus is on Mr. Shozaburo Tateishi, head of CG development at Warp, who discusses creating the intricate snowy world of the game. He talks about the ongoing battle against time during development, and the CG team's role in providing the detailed graphical elements that form the game's environment. A dedicated section highlights the visual evolution of the character Laura across the series, showing her appearance in D, Enemy Zero, and D2. The images illustrate the significant graphical advancements and changes in her design between titles, emphasizing how her look is transformed while maintaining a core identity. The page also includes insights from Mr. Kenji Ino, the creator of the series, who reflects on the development process for D2. He describes the team's dynamic as being like a band, emphasizing the collaborative and close-knit nature of the project, which he contrasts with previous development styles. The page features photographs of both Mr. Tateishi and Mr. Ino. This page features interviews surrounding the production announcement event for D2, focusing on the collaboration between NTT and Warp. It includes profiles and discussions with Katsuro Inake from Gaunt's Multimedia Business Development Department and Shozaburo Tateishi from Warp. The interviews delve into how NTT and Warp joined forces, leveraging T's network expertise for the event and future projects. They discussed the surprise at the large number of attendees at the event, 5,000 people, an unexpectedly massive turnout for a game announcement, and the decision to prepare for a second session just in case. A significant point is the real-time feedback received via the network during the broadcast, with reactions like, "Beautiful," and immediate questions about the Dreamcast coming in, which surprised them and highlighted the potential of the network. Despite some users experiencing difficulties accessing the stream due to high traffic, they felt the event successfully demonstrated the capabilities of using networks for live announcements and fan interaction. Tateishi also comments on observing the game industry's unique way of valuing fans and Warp's distinct approach. The D2 production announcement aimed to preview the future of gaming and communication, showcasing the convergence of technologies like fiber optics and satellite broadcasting, facilitated by Warp and NTT. The event highlighted how communication enhances experience, with a focus on features like Pontoon, a system allowing viewers to interact with the live video stream for additional information. The event footage was available online from June 5th to 19th, followed by a network broadcast on June 27th, both utilizing Pontoon. The Phoenix Project, a satellite relay system, Nenstar, connected venues across Japan, enabling simultaneous live viewing and interaction through internet streaming via JStream. The event previewed their upcoming RPG project, 3 Million RPG, and exemplified their efforts to create a more interactive and connected experience. Masayoshi Okawa, recording engineer and representative director of First Smile Entertainment, discusses his work on the D2 image album, Sketches for Warp, founded by Kenji Ino. Their collaboration began with music for the game EO, where Okawa recommended Mike Van Dyke and later worked on the soundtrack himself. Okawa considers Ino an exceptionally talented artist, praising his musical abilities and dedication. Ino's emphasis on music's importance, equal to visuals, is rare in the Japanese game industry. Sketches, a concept album, may not appear in the final game, a typical move by Ino. Okawa highlights the album's high quality and a hidden piano solo by Ino. The album aims to express the white theme of D2 and expand listeners' understanding of the game world. This page continues the discussion with Kenji Ino about the image album, Sketches for D2. Ino emphasizes the critical role of bass frequencies in the game's music, describing it as vital for rhythm and creating feelings ranging from excitement to fear. Details for the D2 image album Sketches are provided, confirming its release on June 17th as a special package containing 10 tracks, including themes like Main, Rhythm, Snow, Morning, Love, and Fear. The article highlights Ino's unique approach during D2 production meetings. Instead of relying on visual materials, He would compose and use music to convey the game's atmosphere and image to the staff, having created around 50 such pieces. The main theme featured on the album was reportedly based on material created 3 years prior for M2. A production announcement concert for the main theme is also mentioned, featuring a performance by a trio including Ichino on piano, accompanied by cello and violin. The cellist, Tomoko Kanda, and violinist, Madoka Sato, are noted as participants in the Sketches album. Photo show Ino, presumably Masayoshi Okawa from the previous page, another individual associated with the album's imagery, and the stage from the concert. This page offers a detailed walkthrough for a specific segment of Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, focusing on the search for the Kinematron during the Flower Division's hot spring trip. After arriving at the inn, Maria proposes contacting HQ, but the crucial Kinematron is missing, preventing their departure for the beach. The guide takes the player through the investigation of various areas within the inn. Checking Origami's room again yields no results. In Sumire's room, the Peacock Room, which is currently empty except for Sakiko, who isn't feeling well, no clues are found. The Phoenix Room, where the rest of the team is showing off swimsuits, also holds no immediate answers. The garden is checked, where Kofran is found tidying up fireworks debris, and provides a hint about the Kinematron's disappearance. The search continues to the changing room, where Iris and Lenny are encountered after having used the bath. The Kinematron is still missing here. Finally, the last remaining area is the lobby. The guide notes that encountering Sumire after 9:25 near the garden and then going to the lobby twice will trigger dialogue, suggesting the Kinematron is definitely missing. The included chart illustrates the free movement possibilities and character locations at different times during this investigation segment. Screenshots throughout the page showcase the characters and the inn's locations. This page continues the investigation in Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die. After searching the inn fruitlessly for 40 minutes, Maria's inquiries lead to a child who saw a piece of the stolen Kinematron on the beach. Following this lead, the two explore a nearby cave entrance. They proceed cautiously, noting the cave structure is vulnerable to the rising tide, posing a potential danger. Deep inside, they discover a wireless radio, which suddenly receives a transmission. Upon receiving the message, they learn it's from Kondu of the Black Devils, confirming they stole the Kinematron and set a trap. Realizing the tide has come in and blocked their exit, they face the challenge of escaping. Especially since Maria is not a strong swimmer. They contact Imperial headquarters for assistance. Fortunately, the Shaoryu Maru, equipped with a Kubukai, is dispatched and arrives at the cave exit just in time. With battle preparations complete, the stage is set for the impending confrontation with the Black Devils. Screenshots show the cave, the radio, the characters attempting to escape the rising water, Ogami helping Maria, and the arrival of the Shaoryu Maru. This page focuses on the immediate battle following the escape from the cave in Sakura Wars 2. Scene 3 details Suiko's failed surprise attack and the subsequent confrontation. Suiko, one of the Black Devil's 5 elements, is shocked to find the Imperial assault force arriving in their Kubukai. The objective of this battle is clear: wipe out the Waki Samurai Kai surrounding the team. Combination attacks are highlighted as incredibly effective here, especially since Maria is the main character for this section. Increasing Maria's trust level is crucial for maximizing damage. If trust is low, using the cover command is suggested. 2 main strategies are presented based on the team's starting point on the map. If starting from the mountain, you can use Oriheim or Iris to block a narrow path with obstacles called rock stops, potentially limiting enemy movement or reinforcements. If starting from the sea, you arrive via a ship, and there are guiding lights that, if destroyed, prevent enemy ships from arriving. However, if you can land combination attacks effectively, you might choose to ignore the guiding lights and focus purely on the Waki Samurai Kai. A key check section warns that failure to clear the battle within 3 turns results in Kongu reinforcements arriving from the sea, forcing the Imperial assault force to temporarily retreat and prolonging the engagement significantly. The battle becomes a race against time, requiring either quick enemy elimination or tactical use of obstacles to manage the fight. This page delves into the unexpected turn of events in the battle against Suiko in Sakura Wars 2. Just as the Imperial assault force confronts Suiko, the formidable Kongo makes a dramatic appearance, not as an enemy of Suiko, but to protect her using the cover command. This immediately shifts the battle's focus. Suiko becomes essentially invincible while Kongo is present. Therefore, Defeating Kongo becomes the primary objective. The page outlines strategies for this, such as positioning your characters effectively to surround and quickly eliminate Kongo. The enemy units are detailed, including Kongo's heavy artillery-equipped machine, Tepu, and Suiko's sleeker mech, Haoshao, along with descriptions of their powerful special attacks like the Thunder Lightwave attack and the 10-direction slash. Once Kongo is down, the real challenge against Suiko begins. The strategy then involves luring Suiko away from complex terrain into a more open area where the Flower Division can surround her for a decisive victory. After the intense battle, the page transitions to a lighter note, depicting the Flower Division's return journey to Tenedo via a steam bus. Screenshots show characters reflecting on their trip and the successful mission, highlighting their fatigue, but also the satisfaction of completing the objective without serious injury, thanks in part to the support received. The page concludes with a celebratory victory pose image of the team. The next page shifts focus to the fans themselves, presenting a dedicated section titled Imperial Journal. It opens with an illustration gallery featuring fan-submitted art from various regions of Japan, showcasing popular characters like Lani, Iris, and Sakura. Following this is a Q&A segment answering a fan's question about the release date of Sakura Wars 2 and its potential connection to a specific plot point. The core of the page delves into the mechanics of Sakura Wars 2 by detailing the combined attacks available to the characters. It lists several powerful joint techniques, providing their names and brief descriptions, such as the combined attack by Lani and a partner called Götterdämmerung, known for its reliability once Lani's gender is confirmed. Orihime's dramatic Kanzone, the powerful Chozetsu Moka Sekiryu Kosho involving Koran, Iris's destructive Iris Adult, and the dynamic Smrtny TA nets performed by Maria. It also mentions Sumair's Kamizaki Furyu Shiocho and Sakura's joint attacks, including Hajaken-sei Oka Tenbu. These combined attacks are crucial for dealing significant damage to tougher enemies in the game. The page concludes with a call for more fan submissions, like illustrations and questions. This page shifts focus to Slayers Royal 2, showcasing vibrant character art featuring Lena Inverse, Guri Gabriev, Amelia Wiltesla Serun, and Zelgadis Greywords, along with Silfiel Nels Lahada. A special report box details the game's status, noting it is 60% complete, an RPG developed by Kadokawa, Shuten and especially, intended for one player, and set for release on August 27th, at a price of 6,800 yen. The article expresses excitement that the core cast is assembled and ready for adventure, highlighting the confirmed return of these key characters. It speculates on the possibility of the enigmatic Zelos joining the party, suggesting it could create an exceptionally powerful magical force. The overall tone conveys anticipation for the game and its returning beloved characters. This page dives deeper into Slayers Royal 2, specifically explaining the fundamental game mechanics and command system. It shows how you navigate the adventure part of the game using 4 main commands: move, action, camp, and system. Clicking action reveals more options like look and event, used for examining the environment, or talking to people, which is crucial for gathering information. The page then details commands available in specific locations. In the restaurant, you can use the food command to eat and affect character parameters, with various menu options available. The item shop features the buy command for acquiring items useful in battle, and you can even sell unwanted items. The weapon shop also uses the buy command, emphasizing the need to check weapon specs before purchasing, as prices and performance vary by town, and you can even try to negotiate prices. Finally, the inn offers the stay and food commands. Stay allows you to advance time in 5-step increments, making it a convenient way to pass the day. The page features a large illustration of Lena Inverse, who exclaims, "You can try out various things." This section provides a clear overview of how players will interact with the world and manage their party's needs in Slayers Royal 2. This page provides a look at the magic system in Slayers Royal 2 and highlights some powerful spells. It explains the 3 main types of magic: white magic used by priests, spirit magic tied to the elements, and black magic which requires a contract with a demon. Black magic, notably, is not available to everyone. Lena's famous Dragon Slave spell is mentioned as being black magic, usable only by those contracted with the Crimson-Eyed Demon Lord. The page showcases 4 specific spells with screenshots: Burst Flare, an enhanced version of Fireball with a wide area of effect; Elmechia Lance, a spirit magic spear damaging the enemy's spirit, particularly effective against demons. Holy Breath, an attack-type white magic now usable by Naga in the game. And Felzaredo, another spirit magic spell that hits multiple enemies with a beam of light. The lower section shifts focus to the Slayers franchise's origins, highlighting the original light novel series. It explains how the series began after winning an award and expanded into various media. Two main novel series are discussed: the more serious main story featuring Lena, Guri, Zelgadis, and Amelia, which serves as the basis for the TV anime, and the humorous special short story collection which inspired the movies and OVAs. This page focuses on Luna 2, Eternal Blue, highlighting its impending release on the SEGA Saturn, 4 years after its initial Mega CD launch. The article notes that development is in its final stages, while the core story, which had a high degree of completion originally, remains largely unchanged. The Saturn version boasts significant power-ups across various aspects, including completely redrawn anime scenes and added events. The page introduces Lucia, a mysterious, beautiful girl whose origin from a blue star is the only known fact. Everything else about her is shrouded in enigma. Initially aloof, she gradually softens her expression and attitude as she travels with Hiro and the party. Though she changes, her objective remains unspoken, not out of distrust, but perhaps something she simply cannot articulate. As the journey approaches her goal, her presence within the party reportedly grows significantly. The page also details the game's magic system, specifically how equipping crests works. These crests are tied to elemental attributes like earth, water, fire, and wind. Equipping a single earth crest allows the user to access earth element magic, such as Gaia Crash, Rock Crush, which drops a giant rock on enemies. Equipping 2 crests of the same type, like 2 earth crests, not only makes the magic more powerful, but also potentially unlocks additional, more potent spells. The article suggests that equipping different types of crests yields different results, hinting at varied strategic options. This page delves further into the crest system in Lunar 2, Eternal Blue Complete. Continuing from the previous explanation, it highlights the advanced possibilities unlocked by equipping 2 different types of crests. First, it demonstrates how equipping opposing elements, specifically earth and thunder crests, allows the use of non-attribute magic. An example shown is Pulse Explosion, a powerful attack that isn't affected by enemy attributes, making it useful in various situations. The accompanying screenshot depicts a desert battle scene with a large blue sphere representing the spell. Second, the page reveals that combining different elemental crests grants access to potent composite magic. By equipping earth and water crests, the party can cast Icebreak, which attacks enemies with both cold and earth damage, visualized by large ice pillars erupting from the ground. Similarly, equipping earth and fire crests unlocks Lava Break, a devastating spell combining fire and earth, depicted with massive flames bursting forth. This ability to easily access powerful area effect spells through crest combinations is presented as a key advantage of the system. The article emphasizes that there are many more composite magic options available beyond these examples, encouraging players to experiment with different crest pairings to discover them. Lunar 2, Eternal Blue Complete on the SEGA Saturn boasts exceptional animation quality, considered the series' peak. Produced by the studio behind renowned OVAs, the game features seamlessly integrated CG backgrounds and hand-drawn characters, exceeding typical frame rates for remarkably smooth character movement. The director's personal oversight of storyboards ensured a unified vision. Key scenes, like Lucia's arrival, the introduction of Ruby, and Hiro and Lucia's first meeting, are highlighted to demonstrate the impressive visuals. The original Sega CD voice cast, including Chisa Yokoyama and Hikaru Midorikawa, enhances the experience. This article concludes that the animation is flawless and a must-see element for fans and newcomers. This page focuses on introducing characters and key scenes from Lunar 2, Eternal Blue Complete. The top section highlights the impressive dragon steamship Valgan and the meeting between Hiro and Leo, a young beastman knight. The text suggests this scene symbolizes the current state of the world and praises the beauty of the Kogrendered steamship. A character profile for Leo is also featured, identifying him as a just and trusted knight, and one of the 4 heroes of the Althena cult. The middle section features artwork of Lucia, and discusses the emotional connection between her and Hiro, noting how their feelings sometimes differ despite their journey together. A scene is described where Hiro tries to comfort Lucia, but she feels misunderstood and runs off, leaving Hiro watching her go. The bottom right introduces Lemina, another future companion. The text mentions her appearance, incorrectly stating, Lunar 1 she is from Lunar 2. Describes her as a magic user and current head of the Magic Guild. Her personality is characterized as bright and positive, though notably obsessed with money. Artwork shows her in her primary outfit. There is also a small image of Lucia in her casual attire. This page dives into Langrisser v. The End of Legend, highlighting the game's unique protagonists and setting the stage for the series' conclusion. The main title announces, and now, the final legend. The focus is squarely on the two main characters, Sigma and Lambda, described as artificial humans born into a sorrowful world. Unlike the traditional heroes or warriors of light from previous Langrisser titles, Sigma and Lambda are emotionless, biological weapons created by Gizarov, the antagonist from Langrisser IV. Sigma is presented as the main protagonist, an artificial soldier thrown into the chaos of battle with little knowledge of the world outside of fighting. Lambda, also created by Gizarov, is an artificial soldier focused on magic, possessing more knowledge than Sigma, but lacking emotion. The article notes the fresh perspective of having emotionless weapons as protagonists, and the interesting connection to the previous game's villain. A special report indicates the game is 100% complete, developed by Messiah, and scheduled for release on June 18 for 6,300 yen as a simulation RPG. The top text dramatically describes their awakening amidst darkness, born only to fight for their existence, neither good nor evil, starting the final legend. This page delves further into Langrisser v. The End of Legend, positioning it as the grand finale of the long-running series that spans from the Mega Drive/Genesis era right up to the Sega Saturn. It confirms this entry will finally resolve the legends surrounding the two legendary swords, Langrisser and Alhazard, bringing closure to the saga. The core gameplay remains the tactical simulation RPG formula the series is known for, blending strategic unit command with deep character progression and personality. The page highlights the fun of complex tactical battles alongside the enjoyment of immersing yourself in the compelling characters and watching them grow, enhanced by the beautiful artwork of Satoshi Urushihara. A key feature emphasized is the use of stunning anime cutscenes throughout the game and in the opening, bringing Urushihara's character designs to life and significantly boosting the game's presentation and appeal. Crucially, the article points out the strong connection to the previous game, Langrisser IV. While Langrisser Versus features new protagonists, as discussed on the previous page, it serves as a direct narrative follow-up to IV. Players will see the return of beloved characters from Langrisser IV, including its protagonist Landius, and allies like Rachel and Emily, playing significant roles in this concluding chapter. The page promises a massive story that ties up all the lingering mysteries from the series. Langrisser IV was released on PC in August 97, with Langrisser Versus following on the Saturn in July 98. This page provides a deep dive into Langrisser v. The End of Legend, focusing on the initial character creation process and the fundamental battle system that defines the series. The game kicks off with character customization for the new protagonist, Ramda, alongside Sigma. Answering questions posed by a character on screen determines their initial abilities, equipment, and potential class progression paths. The page also introduces Claret, tied to Ramda, and the legendary Jessica, hinting at her pursuit of the latter. The core of the page breaks down the strategic combat. Key elements include the class change system, allowing units to evolve into more powerful forms up to 4 times upon reaching level 10. The mercenary system lets main characters hire various unit types, up to 2 kinds and 6 total, to fight alongside them. Mercenaries gain combat bonuses when within the commander's range. The JPS system dictates the turn order based on unit positioning and stats, determining who acts when in a given turn. Unit compatibility follows a classic rock-paper-scissors dynamic, with infantry strong against spearmen, spearmen against cavalry, and cavalry against infantry being a prime example, crucial for tactical planning. Finally, the page covers magic use, available for both offense and defense on the battle map, noting that magic users are also equipped with weapons for direct combat. These systems are presented as essential knowledge for mastering the game's strategy. This page dives into the narrative and key players of Langrisser v. The End of Legend. The main story revolves around Sigma and Lambda, artificial soldiers caught in a chain of conflict from the moment they were created. The page provides a glimpse into the early game events through a series of scenarios, showing their escape from a research facility, encountering and helping others, and being pursued by enemy forces like General Eisel. Dominating the page is an illustration of Brenda, introduced as another heroine alongside Claret. Her description notes her connection to the protagonist and her potential role leading a military unit, raising questions about her true identity. Below the scenarios, several important characters are introduced, integral to the unfolding story. These include Omega, a core unit from the research facility; Rainforce, a loyal subordinate of the Empire's leader; General Eisel, a persistent pursuer; Wheeler, the clever commander of the Kakonsis army; Serena, a key figure in Wheeler's command; Alvins, a hot-headed young man with a dark past; Villiers, a mysterious figure whose allegiances are unclear; and Lambert, the father of Langrisserfor's Lanford, a local lord with ties to the Rockwell family. These characters are presented as the driving force behind the game's narrative twists and turns. This page dives into the terrifying world of Deep Fear, known in Japan as In the Straits of Life and Death. This survival horror suspense title is prominently featured with large character renders of the female character, Gina, and the male protagonist, suggesting they are central figures in the unfolding events. Dialogue snippets like, "Will you call me Gina?" and "I'll do that, Gina," are shown, hinting at their interactions and relationship within the game's narrative. Presented as a special report, the article introduces the game's premise, which appears to involve a mission to prevent a nuclear missile launch and the subsequent horrifying developments that challenge the player character. Information regarding its release is also present, noting it is a single-player, 2-disc title recommended for mature audiences. The overall presentation, with its dramatic title treatment and character focus, emphasizes the intense and perilous atmosphere players will encounter in the deep-sea setting. This page continues the coverage of Deep Fear, detailing the events following the initial mission. Titled Return, it shows protagonist John bringing the sole survivor from the Sea Fox back to the base. Troublingly, the survivor quickly develops severe symptoms, shivering uncontrollably and needing immediate medical attention, introducing a new element of danger. The arrival of US Navy SEALs necessitates John and his group relocating within the base. Meanwhile, the destruction of the Sea Fox is noted, described as a costly loss. The page highlights the submersible Little Shark as the vehicle used to reach the relative safety of the base's M1 area pool. Despite completing this phase of the operation, the grim conclusion is that this mission complete merely ushers in new despair, setting the stage for the next horrifying chapter. Kenji Kawai is credited as the music composer. This page details the shocking events that unfold immediately after returning to the base in Deep Fear. Titled Transformation and Partner's Death, it reveals that the survivor brought back was already infected and rapidly transforms into a horrific monster. The tragedy escalates as the monster attacks John's partner, Mookie, who was left behind in the submersible. John witnesses the gruesome attack through a porthole, unable to help as Mookie is brutally killed. The page features screenshots showing the characters, the transformation signs like bulging veins, the monstrous form of the survivor, and John's horrified reaction. A large text highlights Mookie's final desperate plea, "Help, Chief!" This page transitions from the shocking events of Mookie's death into the core gameplay of Deep Fear. Once the dramatic cinematic concludes, control shifts to the player in the adventure part. Here, you'll explore the station, depicted with polygon characters and environments. A key part of the experience is combat. Players engage terrifying monsters using various firearms, like the Colt, M1991, A1, or MP5, but must manage limited ammunition resources carefully. There are multiple ways to take down the grotesque creatures. Exploration also involves interacting with other survivors scattered throughout the base, particularly in the medical area. M1. Gathering information from these residents is crucial for progress, though not all have fared well, with some found unconscious or worse. A significant moment detailed here is the reunion with Dr. Weisberg in the M1 area. She has been researching countermeasures and reveals a critical discovery. The monster's parasitic cells rapidly infect other organisms and, importantly, have a low resistance to oxygen. This scientific finding leads to the hypothesis that filling the base with air could be an effective strategy against the threat. Finally, the page reflects on the tragic fate of the Little Shark submersible. It is shown sinking to the ocean floor, carrying the monster and Mookie's body, a somber reminder of the recent loss. Wackenroder, a tactical simulation RPG for the SEGA Saturn, plunges players into a dark, industrial world. Set on Edward Island, the game depicts a land ravaged by pollution, born from a steam-powered revolution. The protagonist, Lucian, lives in the smog-choked city of Bort, where a deadly disease, photophobia, plagues the populace, causing extreme sensitivity to light. Lucian's twin sister suffers from this condition, her life lived in darkness. The game explores themes of suffering, fate, and divine justice, offering a bleak yet atmospheric experience. The visuals, created by Range Murata and Yoshitoshi Abe, highlight the grim reality through polluted environments and poignant dialogue. Despite the pervasive darkness, a glimmer of hope exists in the sisters' wish for salvation, promising a story rich in secrets and, potentially, redemption. This page continues the story of Wackenroder's protagonist, Lucian, delving into his tragic past. The title reflects his internal struggle and the unfairness of his sister's illness compared to his own health. The page details Lucian's attempts to help his twin sister, afflicted with photophobia. Desperate for medicine, he decides to gamble and fight in the arena for money, making a promise related to becoming a sledge knight. A profound tragedy strikes upon his return. His sister has died while he was away, having called out his name in her final moments. This devastating loss leaves Lucian consumed by resentment. Years later, Lucian is depicted as a man drowning his sorrows in drink. His life changes when he encounters a young woman named Carol, being harassed by suspicious men outside a bar. Lucian is struck by her resemblance to his sister and impulsively intervenes, discovering the men are actually Imperial assassination troops. Seeing his sister's image in Carol ignites a fierce determination within him. Haunted by his inability to save his sister, Lucian declares his resolve to protect Carol this time, setting him on a new path. This page features the game Let's Make a Professional Soccer Club, described as the world's first soccer RPG, where players become the coach of the Japanese national team. Developed by SEGA and Enix, it's a sports RPG. The page highlights events after the game starts, focusing on the initiation of the national team's journey. It details the first friendly match against Kazakhstan, described as a manageable opponent, marking the beginning of the path to the world stage. The outcome of this match, and subsequent ones, depends on the player's tactical decisions. The opening story scenario is also summarized. It introduces the protagonist, an aspiring coach who dreams of winning a major cup. The story begins with the protagonist being selected as the national team coach by the association, a decision that sparks resentment from his rival, Tsunozawa, who had expected the position himself. The protagonist's journey starts with this mix of hope and conflict. Screenshots display various aspects of the game, including matches, player interactions, tactical views, and story scenes, illustrating the blend of soccer simulation and RPG elements. This page dives deeper into the campaign of Let's Make a Professional Soccer Club. It highlights a challenging overseas tour against Australia, Morocco, Korea, and the USA, all away matches, which represents a significant hurdle for the protagonist in their first year as coach. The game introduces key rivalries, particularly against Korea's coach Ho Jung-jeon, who is portrayed as openly antagonistic. The section on the USA points out their growing focus on soccer, led by a coach named Tsunozawa, hinting at tough competition. Beyond matches, the game features events that occur not just around games, but also during world map travel. One notable event is meeting Master Kakuta, a former renowned coach who guides the protagonist. Kakuta imparts crucial knowledge, such as the scout's mindset, special skill, acting as a mentor. The page also explains the game's crucial annual evaluation system. At the end of each year, the association reviews the coach's performance based on criteria like results, popularity, technique, guidance, and matches played. Failing to meet the conditions set by the association at the year's start results in being fired. While the first year's conditions are relatively lenient, they become increasingly difficult, demanding continuous improvement. Screenshots illustrate the match scenarios, the schedule for the away tour, the character screen for Kakuta, and the annual evaluation report showing the performance metrics. This page details the methods for developing your team in Let's Make a Professional Soccer Club. It begins by discussing the two main global soccer styles, the South American type, focused on individual player skill, and the European type, emphasizing organized play. The game allows you to build your team based on these different approaches. The core of team development lies in the three main command systems: skill training, ability improvement, and talent discovery. Skill training enhances individual player techniques, while ability improvement, often gained through matches, boosts overall parameters. Talent discovery involves scouting for new players or investing in the national soccer infrastructure to raise the overall level. A key feature is the ability to create verbal goal patterns, which are predefined sequences of passes, dribbles, and shots designed to score goals. You can create your own custom patterns using up to 5 players, setting their actions over a maximum of 5 turns, even for players without the ball. The page gives an example of creating a pattern within a 352 formation, outlining the steps from initiation by a midfielder to a final shot by a forward. The game also provides preset patterns, and you can register up to 3 for use in a match. Screenshots show player stats, a training selection screen, and the pattern creation interface. This page explores team development in Let's Make a Professional Soccer Club. Beyond basic training, key elements include gaining experience through matches, with wins providing more, but all games contributing to player and manager level-ups. Investing in the National Soccer Foundation indirectly strengthens the national team. Equipping items like uniforms and shoes boosts player stats, requiring strategic fund management. Scouting for new talent is crucial, with longer scouting periods increasing the chance of finding skilled players. Players can learn individual techniques, adding strategic depth. The game is presented as a significant step in the soccer RPG genre, potentially revolutionizing it, like Johan Cruyff's impact on the sport, assuming gameplay balance is refined. This page features a special report on the Legend of Heroes in 2 compilation for the SEGA Saturn. The striking artwork displays key characters from both games, set against a backdrop of fantasy adventure with a dragon. The accompanying text speaks to the nostalgic appeal of childhood heroes and the simple joy of classic RPGs, positioning the compilation as a return to the genre's roots, rather than just a mere port. Profiles are included for the protagonists. Sirius, the main character of The Legend of Heroes is introduced as a prince who grew up in the Borderlands and is known for his adventurous nature. The Legend of Heroes 2 protagonist is Atlas, the son of Sirius and Dina, described as a mischievous prince who takes after his father in his love for adventure and dislike of studying. A report box confirms the game is an RPG from GMF, scheduled for release in July at a price of 5,800 yen, and recommended for all ages. This compilation brings these classic Falcom adventures to the Saturn, offering a chance to experience the origins of the long-running Legend of Heroes series. This page dives into the fundamental systems of The Legend of Heroes 1 and 2. It outlines the core gameplay mechanics, starting with movement, which is typical for an RPG of the era, but notably allows initiating conversation simply by facing a character with the directional pad. Next, the combat system is explained. It's a turn-based affair where you select commands from a menu. The game offers the flexibility to switch to auto-battle, and even has a feature to return to the state just before a battle begins, which is a nice touch. The magic system differentiates itself by having spells learned through selection in towns and villages, rather than solely through level up. While MP is used for spells, the method of MP recovery differs between the 2 games in the compilation. Legend of Heroes uses sleeping at an inn, while Legend of Heroes 2 recovers MP over time, a notable change. Finally, character growth is covered. Basic ability values automatically increase upon leveling up. However, players have the option to manually allocate points to certain stats, like strength or agility, allowing for some customization. HP increases are handled automatically and cannot be directly manipulated by the player. Screenshots illustrate these systems, showing field exploration, battle menus, status screens displaying HP/MP and levels, and conversation windows. The overall impression is of classic, straightforward RPG mechanics, with a few modern conveniences for the time. In The Legend of Heroes First, the Kingdom of Farlife faces turmoil when King, as is killed by monsters, leaving his 6-year-old son, Sirius, as heir. Akudam, the cunning regent, seizes power, forcing Sirius into exile. Returning on his 16th birthday, Sirius finds Akudam has declared him dead. This sparks Sirius's quest to reclaim the throne. He's aided by a diverse group of allies: Ryunan, a monk; Ro, a mage; Dina, a princess betrothed to Sirius; Gale, a thief; and Sonia, a warrior. The story unfolds in Isohasa, a land of islands and continents. Screenshots depict early scenes of Sirios in Alasta and interactions with allies, marking the beginning of his fight against Akudam and his quest for justice. This page delves into the legend of Heroes 2, picking up 20 years after the events of the first game. The protagonist is Atlas, the son of King Sirios and Queen Dina. He's trained diligently in swordsmanship and magic, preparing for his future role. A great earthquake devastates the land, leading to chaos, but the world rebuilds. However, a new threat is quietly emerging. King Sirios sends Atlas on a journey across the world, delivering royal letters, which sets the stage for his grand adventure. Alongside Atlas, the page introduces other key characters. Cindy is a mysterious masked warrior with a reserved demeanor, possibly suffering from memory loss. Flora is a kind-hearted saint from a privileged background who possesses healing magic. Landor is an unconventional mage with a surprisingly muscular build, whose magic often leans towards offensive spells. Screenshots show the game's classic top-down perspective and menu interface, familiar to fans of Falcom RPGs, highlighting character stats and system options like auto-move and message speed, along with snippets of in-game dialogue. The page also includes a note on the series' origins, identifying it as a long-running PC RPG franchise by Nihon Falcom, highlighting its history and presence on various platforms like the PC Engine and PlayStation, referencing titles like Dragon Slayer, The Legend of Heroes, The White Witch, and Scarlet Moon. This page serves as a valuable guide for SEGA Saturn owners, splitting its focus between recent and upcoming software releases. At the top, it highlights the latest titles, providing a quick catch-up on what's just hit the market. This includes exciting releases like the classic arcade shooter Galaxy Force 2 making its way to the Saturn, the street racing action of Initial D, Kudo Saikyu Densetsu, the adventure game Lupin III, Pyramid no Kenja, and other titles like Ojo-sama wo Nere. Lower down, the page shifts its attention to games on the horizon, billed as Coming Soon Soft. This section aims to help players plan their future purchases by showcasing anticipated titles nearing release. Featured games in this preview include the detective adventure Tante Jinguji Saburo, Yume no Owari ni, the simulation game Find Love 2, Code R, Kuriotose, and a sports title tied to the major international football event, World Cup 98 France, Road to Win. The page is also visually appealing, featuring character artwork. A woman with long dark hair smiles warmly from the top right, while below her, another woman in a white top is depicted. In the bottom right, a third woman is shown wearing an orange hoodie, adding a touch of personality to the game previews. Overall, the page provides a snapshot of the vibrant software landscape for the SEGA Saturn, covering both current hits and future possibilities. This page highlights a new SEGA Saturn release, Kaigen de Reach, a mahjong game combining adventure and romance elements. It was released on August 20th, 1998, and priced at 5,800 yen. The game centers around playing mahjong against three beautiful girls at a seaside hot spring inn. Instead of relying on typical conversation choices, the player's affection level with the girls changes based on their mahjong gameplay, which is presented as a full-fledged four-player experience. The game also includes exciting events like swimming, and hot spring visits. The main story mode focuses on winning mahjong matches to increase affection, and eventually confess to one of the girls. The page features profiles for the three characters: Akari Misaki, a bright and gentle classmate who likes the all-simples hand; Yuri Takao, an elegant lady who is surprisingly spacey and likes the half-flush hand; and Kaori Akino, an innocent and optimistic childhood friend who calls the protagonist Oni-chan and likes the all-pairs hand. Character designs are by Sao Aoyama. Beyond the story, the game offers other modes, including free match for standard mahjong battles, and a mahjong classroom with quizzes on hands and scorings. All modes are noted to use fair, non-cheating AI. Screenshots show both adventure segments with items and the mahjong gameplay interface. This page features two exciting new releases for the SEGA Saturn. First up is SEGA Ages, Galaxy Force 2, bringing the classic arcade 3D shooter home. Known for its groundbreaking immersive cabinet and incredible 720-degree movement, this port is highlighted for its high degree of completion and faithful recreation of the arcade experience. Screenshots showcase the intense action across diverse stages like fiery planets and metallic structures, demonstrating the game's impressive graphical fidelity and sprite work. The preview notes that the game prioritizes the feel of control over just raw speed, which was a standout feature compared to other shooters at the time. Below that is Initial D, Kudo Saikyu Densetsu, a racing game based on the popular manga series. It scores a perfect 100% on the completion gauge and promises the thrilling sensation of conquering treacherous downhill corners. Players will relive the series' intense battles against famous rivals like the Takahashi brothers and Kyoichi Sudo, pitting their skills against them on courses from the story in scenario mode. You can also hone your technique in time attack, challenge met rivals anytime in battle mode, or get expert diagnosis on your drifting in the Try Drift practice mode, featuring characters Itsuki and Takumi. Character illustrations and various race screenshots are displayed, capturing the essence of the high-stakes mountain pass races. This page features two brand new titles for the Sega Saturn. First up is Lupin III, the Sage of the Pyramid, an action game that brings the beloved thief and his crew to 3D polygons. With supervision from Monkey Punch himself, the game faithfully reproduces the comical action and distinct style of the anime. You can even choose from 3 different jacket colors for Lupin. The game challenges you to navigate a pyramid filled with traps designed to stop intruders, promising plenty of tricky situations to overcome as you aim for the treasure. Below that is Target the Lady, an 18+ adventure game originally from PC. It tells the story of a regular guy falling for a beautiful lady who seems out of his reach. While some of the more explicit scenes from the PC version have been toned down, the overall scenario has been significantly expanded. The gameplay involves selecting locations to visit and making conversation choices that will shape the direction of the story. It's described as a game where you can experience a sweet and sour romance with a touch of ecchi. This page features the Sega Saturn title Detective Saburo Jinguji, At the End of a Dream, a hard-boiled adventure game developed by Data East and released on July 9, 1998. The game is rated 18+ and is a single-player experience. The page provides a deep dive into the game's narrative, focusing on a major case development involving the discovery of a new drug referred to as PCD. It outlines the investigative process following the series' protagonist, Detective Jinguji, as he works through leads, encounters setbacks, and pieces together the mystery. Key characters from the investigation are highlighted, including a forensic scientist named Miyoshi, fellow detective Kumano, and a character named Yuka Nagata, with artwork by character designer Shuichiro Terada featured throughout. The narrative touches upon losing crucial leads before a critical news report sheds light on the case, ultimately leading to the resolution of one of the central mysteries surrounding PCD. The presentation emphasizes the game's focus on a complex plot and classic hard-boiled detective elements. This page continues the deep dive into the Sega Saturn title, Detective Saburo Jinguji, At the End of a Dream. The main visual highlight is a large, detailed portrait of Sanzu Kumano, a veteran detective. The narrative section details the investigation progressing, with Jinguji returning to Bunhei University to find a lead in Kawashima. But unfortunately, he is now missing, having not been seen for 2 days, according to others. The page also provides a character profile for Sanzu Kumano, affectionately known as Kuma-san, Mr. Bear. He's described as a physically imposing man, with a white mustache and a crucial ally and confidant to Jinguji. Their bond was forged 4 years prior during a case, leading Kumano, a seasoned 30-year detective from the Yodogashi station, to regularly visit Jinguji's office. The text hints at a contrast in investigative styles, with a younger detective named Nodachi, and a poignant mention of a dark past involving a lost partner, suggesting a complex character depth. A small screenshot shows typical adventure game interface options, like look, listen, smoke cigarette, and search, confirming the game's mechanics. Additionally, a profile for another character, notable for his unique hat and badges, describes him as a person who has experienced life but retains a pure heart, someone desirable as an acquaintance, adding to the game's diverse cast. This page reveals a crucial turning point in Detective Saburo Jinguji. At the end of a dream, Yuka has been found. However, the news is grim. She's discovered in a drug-induced state from something called PCD in a man's apartment where the owner is dead from an apparent suicide, with evidence suggesting a murder-suicide attempt involving Yuka. Jinguji arrives at the hospital, witnessing the distress of Yuko and Miki, whose sister is barely conscious and like a different person. The police are operating under the assumption of a murder-suicide based on a will left behind. Refusing to accept this theory, Jinguji, accompanied by Kumano, heads to the apartment where Yuka was found. The investigation focuses on the details of the scene to uncover the truth and prove Yuka's innocence. Clues like the landlord's testimony about the air conditioner unit and the lack of a timer function on its remote are highlighted as potential keys to understanding how the crime was orchestrated. The page also touches upon the emotional fallout, showing the difficult reunions between Yuka and her best friend Yuko and Miki with their parents. Kumano, a seasoned detective, reflects on having seen such tragic family dynamics often in his career. The narrative emphasizes Jinguji's challenge to expose the unseen culprit who framed Yuka, suggesting a battle of wits is now fully underway. This page continues the intense story of Detective Saburo Jinguji. At the end of a dream. Following up on the previous page's events, Jinguji, Kumano, and Noda receive information pointing them towards Kabukicho in Shinjuku, where the man suspected of selling the drug PCD and orchestrating the incident involving Yuka is believed to be. They head to the crowded entertainment district, using a photo to search for the man. The page shows screenshots of the investigation, including interacting with potential informants like a hostess and a tout, highlighting the gritty reality of the search. The chase culminates in Jinguji apprehending the suspect on the street. With a surge of relief, they manage to handcuff him. However, the narrative poses the question, is this really the end? Suggesting the case may not be fully resolved despite the capture. The page also introduces Miki Inagaki, Yuka's sister, depicted in a large character illustration, described as lively and cheerful, contrasting with her sister's seriousness. Miki failed her university entrance exam and is now staying with Yuka. She joins the investigation, assisting Jinguji. A developer comment notes that Miki's character was shaped by their current ideas, aiming for a vibrant young girl's feel, and hints at unseen sides to her personality. The next page introduces the racing adventure game Code AR, focusing on a detailed look at the game's crucial first week. The narrative begins with a prologue, setting up the main character's goal: acquiring a car, motivated by a competitive relationship with his friend and complex family dynamics stemming from funds saved by his deceased mother. Screenshots showcase key moments, from the main character interacting with his friend at a gas station, to tense family discussions, and obtaining what appears to be a loan card. The game structure allows for player freedom, especially after a certain time in the afternoon on the first day. Returning home triggers a phone call from the friend, potentially leading to a nocturnal encounter with a mysterious street racer, who seems set up as the player's initial rival. The story is highlighted as being dynamic, changing based on how the player proceeds. The developer notes that Code R was created with a strong emphasis on both racing and adventure elements, aiming to satisfy fans of both genres. This look at the opening week promises a mix of story progression, character interaction, and the thrilling introduction to the world of street racing. From day 2 in Code R, the player explores the town, learning character routines to efficiently interact with them and manage resources like gas. Early on, low notoriety limits interactions. The day is divided into morning, daytime, and evening. Mornings involve specific character interactions, like with Sayuri. Daytimes are for exploring and conversing with characters to advance the story, including encounters with a girl and a woman. A key figure is an old man named Matsuo, who holds knowledge about the protagonist's past. Evenings shift to street racing. To increase notoriety and find rivals, players must locate and challenge racers at night. The first official race is scheduled for the next day at 9 o'clock, with a specific rival, highlighting the structured progression tied to reputation and understanding character schedules. This page continues the guide for Code SER, focusing on the core gameplay loop of improving driving skills and challenging rivals. It emphasizes that winning street battles is essential for progressing the story. The guide highlights that there are 3 specific locations in the town where you can initiate practice runs at any time, day or night, provided there are no characters present. These practice runs are consequence-free, allowing you to crash into guardrails or walls without damaging your car, making them ideal for safely learning the courses. Points are awarded for clean cornering, encouraging players to perfect their lines. You can challenge courses multiple times, but time passes, so be mindful. Focusing practice on one location to master it before battling is recommended. The page also touches on the game's event system, mentioning that events occur based on increasing notoriety, story progression, conversation flow, and time. Screenshots show various characters encountered during these events, suggesting diverse interactions beyond racing. Specific events highlighted include interactions at an SO gas station, hinting at sponsorship, or side activities like getting a credit card. The guide also mentions the appearance of new rivals and how winning battles boosts notoriety. It stresses the importance of practice, especially since battles primarily happen at night when visibility is poor. Mastering the courses through practice runs is key to success against rivals and advancing in the game. Code Era's progression centers on building notoriety as a street racer, unlocking characters, and advancing the story. Winning races earns prize money for car upgrades and is crucial to success. Managing fuel consumption, a key mechanic, is vital for efficient movement. The rival system, which features varying reactions to defeat, requires consistent wins to improve relationships. Winning earns win stars, and rematch timing influences rival disposition. Challenging and defeating stronger rivals, like Fujihiko, requires skill development. The game emphasizes a timeline-based progression. A replay function allows reviewing races from diverse camera angles. This page highlights Find Love the Prologue, a fan disc designed for players eager for the sequel, Find Love 2. The premise is that a small package arrives for the player as a thank you from the girls met in the previous game, serving as an introduction to the next story. The fan disc itself includes a preview trailer for Find Love 2, introductions to the characters, development art including setting and rough sketches, and most notably, the ability to have conversations with the 3 girls who won a popularity contest among all 35 characters. The winners were An Nanase, Grand Prix, Tomomi Yoshino, Semi-Grand Prix, and Minako Sawada, Semi-Grand Prix. The disc features their profiles, memorable moments, and even songs, promising a fresh look at these characters. The physical items shown as being inside the package are a video cassette, a mini photo album, a postcard, and an official fanbook CD case. This release is from publisher Daiki, priced at 3,300 yen, scheduled for release on June 4th, and is recommended for players aged 18 and over. Find Love the Prologue is a fan disc for the SEGA Saturn, presented as a gift to players anticipating Find Love 2. It features 5 modes designed to deepen the player's connection with the heroines. The disc includes an official fanbook, with profiles and photos of the contest winners, An Nanase, Tomomi Yoshino, and Minako Sawada. The video letter mode offers intimate glimpses into their lives through hometown tours and childhood stories. Telephone mode allows simulated phone calls, with player choices influencing responses. A sound gallery mode features songs performed by the girls, including tracks that reflect their personalities. Finally, the Find Love 2 preview mode provides a sneak peek at the sequel, introducing new characters, gameplay details, and showcasing art and a preview movie. The disc aims to prepare players for the main game by fostering a better understanding of the heroines. This page features the upcoming SEGA Saturn title, Dokapon Ikari no Tekken. Presented as a coming soon soft, this game is a fast-paced action title, focused on simply kicking opponents to knock them off stages. There are no complex rules or controls to worry about. The game takes place on the 8 stages of Mount Kerio, where participants compete in the Kerio Otose event. The page introduces a motley crew of challengers, vying for victory. These range from a beautiful boy thief and a panda plushie, to a musician, a nurse, a doting mother, a mysterious magic creature, a young boy dreaming of being a hero, a popular idol, and a serious holy knight. Each character possesses unique designs and distinct special moves, adding variety to the simple gameplay. The game is scheduled for release on June 18th, supports up to 4 players simultaneously, and is recommended for all ages, promising fun and frantic action for everyone. This page provides a detailed look at the various battlefields found on Mount Kerio in Dokapon Ikari no Tekken. The game features 8 distinct stages, each with its own unique layout and environmental hazards players must master. Illustrated with screenshots and descriptions, the page tours the mountain, starting from the entrance and ascending through diverse locales like a beautiful mountain area with water, an arena that's falling apart, a stormy zone, an icy world, a volcanic stage, a meteor shower level, and finally, the mountain's summit. Each stage introduces different mechanics, such as flowing water that pushes players, strong winds, slippery ice, or lava eruptions, encouraging players to adapt their strategy and use the stage features to their advantage to knock opponents off. The page also notes that items like balls and bombs appear on stages to add further chaos to the frantic battles. This comprehensive guide emphasizes the verticality and variety of the challenges awaiting players on their quest to conquer Mount Kirio. This page showcases SEGA Worldwide Soccer 98, known as Victory Goal 98 in Japan, focusing on Japan's historic challenge in the FIFA World Cup France '98. The game positions you as both the player and manager, striving for World Cup glory. A standout feature is the extensive commentary system, offering over 11,000 words and 1,500 patterns from famous Japanese soccer commentators and navigators, who provide boosted support when you choose the Japan team. The Japan national team features real player names. The game even allows for exciting if scenarios, including matches that didn't occur in the actual tournament. Tactical depth is emphasized, giving players control over formations and substitutions. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, tactical menus, corner kicks, and penalty situations. This page dives deeper into the modes available in SEGA Worldwide Soccer 98, building on the World Cup theme discussed previously. It highlights the core World Cup 98 mode, which lets you fully simulate the actual tournament, navigating from the group stage through the knockout rounds against all 32 competing nations. A unique feature is the Road to France mode, recreating the intense 97 Asian qualifiers, specifically the crucial matches Japan played. You can jump into the game at various key moments, such as after scoring or conceding, allowing you to relive and potentially change history. The page also covers standard modes like Friendly Match, offering customizable games against the CPU, friends, or in coupe, with options to set the stadium, weather, sunny or rain, and time of day, day or night. For those wanting to personalize their experience, the Player Edit mode allows you to change the names of players on teams other than Japan. Finally, extensive options let you fine-tune the gameplay experience, adjusting camera angles, toggling offsides and fouls, and even disabling card displays, giving players significant control over the match environment. This page focuses on Street Fighter Alpha 3, the highly anticipated third entry in the Alpha series. It's presented as the culmination of systems introduced in previous games, packed with numerous new features. The page reveals key character additions to the roster: Rainbow Mika, a brand new female pro wrestler whose blend of agility and strength will be a highlight, and the surprising return of Cody, the protagonist from Final Fight, now appearing in prison garb. His appearance and story are noted as particularly intriguing. Gameplay screenshots showcase these characters in action, along with others like Balrog, known as M. Bison in Japan, and Guy, demonstrating the game's visuals and exciting fights. The main revelation discussed is the detailed specification of the ISM Select system, which is highlighted as the game's defining feature. This system allows players to choose different fighting styles for their character, offering significant strategic depth. The page indicates this system is a major talking point and the focus of the article, promising to explain its mechanics. The game is confirmed for arcade release on the CP System 2 board. This page dives deep into the ISM Select system, the core mechanic of Street Fighter Alpha 3, allowing players to tailor their character's fighting style. 3 distinct ISMs are detailed. Crocsism offers powerful super combos and high attack power, reminiscent of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but lacks the Alpha counter system. Characters may also have unique visual changes or moves in this style. Xiism is the standard mode, closest to the previous Alpha games. Characters have multiple super combos, with up to 3 levels, and gain access to the new Alpha counter. Mexivism introduces a new iteration of the original combo system from Alpha 2. This allows for custom combos, with the properties of the phantom images changing based on the button used to activate it. This mode also includes the new Alpha counter. The article highlights the strategic depth created by having 25 characters, each with 3 unique ISM styles, effectively creating 75 distinct fighting possibilities. Screenshots across the page showcase various characters like Blanca, E. Honda, Sagat, Vega, Balrog, and M. Bison, utilizing different ISMs and their signature moves. The reveal of the 2 new characters, Rainbow Mika and Cody, previously hinted at, is confirmed, adding fresh faces to the extensive roster. The page concludes by emphasizing the exciting and varied battles this system enables, and promises more updates to come. This page features an advertisement for the official strategy guide for Darkstalkers 3, The Lord of Vampire, on the SEGA Saturn. The guide is titled, Vampire Savior Perfect Guide, and is available for 1,300 yen. The page highlights that the guide provides a complete strategy for the Saturn version of the game that includes enthusiastic comments from the Capcom staff responsible for the port and is authored by the 2D fighting game experts from SEGA Saturn Magazine itself. The content is designed to cover the basics, making it useful even for beginners, ensuring everyone can get the most out of this acclaimed fighting game. The image primarily displays the game's prominent logo and a small depiction of the guide's cover. The bottom section provides brief details on how to order the guide. This weekly reader submission section features letters from across Japan. Readers express excitement about upcoming festivals, with one from Tokyo anticipating the summer seasons. Discussions about Sega's new hardware, likely the Dreamcast, are prevalent, with readers from Kanagawa and Nara sharing their opinions and affection. One reader suggests the nickname Dreamcatcher, while another declares it the Sega era. A reader from Nagano seeks nickname suggestions. Other submissions cover varied topics, including dental experiences, humorous anecdotes about eating out, and festival stories. One reader recounts a Golden Week curry disaster, while another describes a summer tradition involving their grandmother. The page includes illustrations, including a Pepsi Man character. The section showcases the magazine's diverse readership, blending gaming enthusiasm with personal stories and humor. This page continues the reader submission section, featuring different corners for user input. The Saturn User Plaza includes letters on topics such as generational differences in gaming knowledge, noting that the younger generation may not be familiar with classics like Super Mario Bros., or even PlayStation titles like Final Fantasy V2, and that recent university entrants were born when first Gundam aired. Another submission discusses the regional differences in game availability across Japan, particularly for titles on the Sega Saturn, and one reader comments on the appropriate way to respond to offensive language at arcades. The This Week's Misunderstanding section highlights reader mix-ups, including speculation about a sequel to the excellent Sega Saturn title Burning Ranger, and a comic panel referencing a misunderstanding possibly related to the game's characters or the Dreamcast logo. At Tell Me Show Corner features a Q&A session with lighthearted questions covering topics from saving money to becoming a game creator. Finally, the Comic Plaza showcases reader-submitted manga, featuring references to Burning Ranger, comics drawn in the style of the late Machiko Hasegawa that might relate to Sakura Wars, and a notable increase in submissions based on the beloved RPG Grandia. This page features another installment of the reader-submitted narrative relay, continuing the story of characters navigating the world of game creation. It also highlights the Submission King Hall of Fame, recognizing top contributors based on a point system. Readers earn points for their submissions, with high scorers being inducted into the Hall of Fame. A separate list details the current top point earners. The page also includes the Are the Rumors True section, sharing speculative news from readers. Topics include the development of a Sega Drifters database software, a mention of using ASC2 Basic, news about the continuation of the Shining Force series through various titles like Shining Force CD, Shining Wisdom, Shining the Holy Ark, and Shining Force 2i, and confirmation that Street Fighter Alpha 3's logo is correctly read as Z Street Fighter 03 in Japan. There's also an illustration showing two characters, likely from one of the submitted stories or corners. Overall, it's a strong showcase of reader community and engagement with Sega's past and present titles. This page is dedicated to reader submissions, specifically the Letters Park Art Gallery section. The Best of the Week submission features a drawing of a character from Shining Force 2i's, with the editor commenting on the submitter's choice of character and the staff's reaction. The theme for the next submissions is announced as Sagata Sanshiro. The Part Gallery displays various fan artworks for Sega Saturn games, including more Shining Force 2i characters, Maria Tachibana from Sakura Wars, a drawing possibly related to Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, and a character resembling Edge from Panzer Dragoon Saga. Each piece includes a brief comment from the submitter or editor, often referencing the game or the artwork itself. There's also an information block detailing submission guidelines, such as using postcards and black ink, noting that color illustrations are not currently accepted, and explaining the point system. Readers earn points for submissions, with higher points redeemable for rewards like Sega goods, book vouchers, or even game software. Finally, the page provides the address for submitting postcards to the magazine's corner. This section clearly shows the magazine's connection with its reader community and their passion for Sega titles.
This page is a mail-order catalog offering a wide selection of new SEGA Saturn games and accessories for purchase, listing prices, contact information for ordering via phone or fax, and details on shipping costs and payment methods.
This page covers Volume 4 of Exciting Stadium, a feature related to the baseball simulation game Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru. It begins with a commentary on the current state of Japanese professional baseball, noting the tight race in the Central League and struggles for Yakult and Oryx, encouraging fans to support the league despite the popularity of the World Cup at the time. The page includes a cue and a corner with Yakyun coach, offering tips on strengthening your team. It highlights various in-game events and their effects on players and team performance, providing insight into the game's mechanics for improving your club. Finally, it announces the results of the Seed Preliminary, a block for a password battle tournament. Due to an overwhelming number of entries, the preliminary rounds were necessary. The A block winner is revealed as the Sapporo Dynamites, described as having a powerful offense and a reliable pitching-catching battery, securing their victory after 5 years of playing the game. The page includes a grid detailing the match outcomes for the 28 participants in the block, illustrating the path to the Sapporo Dynamites' win. This page announces the recruitment for the Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru Password Battle Tournament, inviting teams to apply for the chance to compete. It details the necessary information for application, including the team's password and basic personal details, with a submission deadline set for June 23. The page also includes an extra edition of the recommended player guide, focusing on analysis from the seed preliminaries. It discusses the performance of various players in the password battle format, noting interesting trends like Sadaharu, typically a dominant cleanup hitter, not performing as strongly in this competitive mode. Conversely, players like Hideki Matsui and Atsunori Inahaba, along with foreigner Matt Lindstrom, showed remarkable results in the password battles, highlighting that the competitive meta differs from standard gameplay. Additional sections include thoughts from a staff member on the game and suggestions for future titles, a description of how to have fun experimenting with password entry itself, and short comments from other staff members covering their experiences and observations related to the game and the tournament. The address for all tournament applications and general correspondence is also provided. This page continues the deep dive into the American Army's operations in Gang Griffin II, serving as part 2 of the analysis focusing on the M16 and M15 Land Club units. As an expert pilot of these formidable mechs, I can tell you this kind of breakdown is essential. The article details the specific missions and combat roles of the reconnaissance platoon piloting the M16. These units are vital for scouting routes, providing support for larger troop movements, establishing forward defensive lines, and even aiding in the deployment of ground radar assets. Their ability to operate effectively in diverse battlefield environments is highlighted. The M15 Land Club is discussed in the context of anti-tank operations and providing critical support during both defensive and offensive maneuvers. Interestingly, the page specifically mentions the U.S. Marine Corps' use of both the M15 and M16. Their amphibious capabilities are lauded, noting how these units can easily traverse water and rough terrain that would stop even typical landing vehicles like the AAVP 7/8 Cold. Finally, a staff column reflects on the aesthetic design of weapons in the game, pondering how technological advancements, particularly radar countermeasures, have influenced their appearance over purely functional or traditional design philosophies. The next installment is teased, promising a look at the VW-1 HIMAX. This page introduces another formidable mech from Gang Griffin II, the M19 Brutal Club. Building upon the foundation of the M15 Land Club, which was discussed on the previous page, the M19 enhances its attack and defensive capabilities significantly. Constructed primarily from carbon fiber and new composite materials, its armament is fearsome. A 25mm Gauss 12U Gatling cannon on the left manipulator, and a Bofors 40mm L70 autocannon on the right. The 40mm cannon, in particular, is noted for its impressive muzzle velocity of 1470 m/s, with APFSDST rounds, comparable to the 76mm gun on the M41 light tank. Despite the increased firepower and armor, the weight increase is kept minimal, only about 2 tons compared to the standard M15, which typically mounted a dozer blade. The high mobility, A one type equipped with combative tires for improved ground maneuverability is also mentioned. The lower section features a queue and a corner where players ask questions about the game. Topics range from the startup cry in the previous game to weapon design choices, specific mech types, and pilot profiles. One interesting answer clarifies that first and second generation weapons, including a hypothetical Type 60 recoilless rifle equivalent, do not appear in the game as they represent a gap in the game's established timeline for weapon development. There's also a mention of an announcement for winners of a Hi-Max jacket giveaway. This bulletin board feature celebrates the visual novel game Machi, showcasing its ongoing popularity. The page features the midterm results of a character popularity poll, with Kiba Amemiya in the lead, and includes reader comments. Fan engagement is highlighted through Gallery Dogonzaka, displaying fan-made illustrations, and This Week's Machi Game, showcasing a cosplay of Kiba Amemiya. A scoop section provides game-related news. The page introduces staff members Ume and Tetsu. A profile on voice actor Kisho Taniyama, who voiced Geronimo, is included. Finally, the page encourages reader participation through submissions like illustrations and votes, with potential prizes, along with a weekly lifestyle tip. This demonstrates a thriving community around Machi. In Free Talk Gallery, Sakura Chisa shares her excitement for the summer concert season and her preparations, including swimsuit shopping. She promotes her Tomo Summer 98 concert dates, July 20th in Tokyo and August 8th in Nagoya, emphasizing the Tokyo venue's historical significance. She also previews upcoming album releases in July and October, particularly the October compilation. An illustration accompanies her column. Below, Izumi Takemoto's comic strip Various Notes offers humorous observations on daily life in gaming. She shares experiences like visiting a closed glasses shop and reflects on arcade games, various consoles, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and the Nintendo 64 disk drive. The strip concludes with thoughts on visiting a friend and her cluttered workspace. Finally, the information box provides concert details for Sakura Chisa's Tokyo show. This page features the 25th installment of the popular comic strip, Sega's Games Are the Best in the World, subtitled Appetite. This long-running strip personifies Sega's consoles and hardware as a family, providing a humorous look at the company's journey. The comic depicts the Sega family grappling with the recent announcement of the new Dreamcast hardware. The character representing the SEGA Saturn expresses frustration over the lack of new game releases, while the human family members show a mix of excitement and apprehension about the future. Specific games like Sakura Wars 2 and Virtua On are mentioned in the dialogue, highlighting the limited recent output for the Saturn. There's also a funny moment where the Game Gear character proudly notes Game Boy is finally getting a color screen. The overall tone captures the feeling of uncertainty and anticipation surrounding the console transition, as the family ponders what's next after the Saturn's reign. The strip is drawn by Something Yoshimatsu, a passionate Sega fan himself. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game, Usama Game, also featuring the tagline, Idol Paradise. The ad prominently displays a man dressed as a king, surrounded by photos of several women. The game involves selecting idols from 2 discs, engaging in versus battles, and issuing penalty games, promising high satisfaction. The game is currently on sale for 6,800 yen, excluding tax, and requires 2 discs. It is exclusive software for the Sega Saturn and has an age restriction of 18 years or older. A small screenshot shows 2 women, likely characters from the game. This page is a feature article about the Sega Saturn game Linda Cube, promoting the complete version published by ASC2. The article presents this title as a psycho-thriller and hunting RPG, noting its previous releases on PC Engine and PlayStation, and positioning it as a new experience for Saturn players. The focus is on providing a head start with a strategy guide, highlighting the unique gameplay elements. The article emphasizes the importance of the animal collection mechanic and mastering the game's time constraints and animal-related shops. It mentions that expert tips have been gathered to help players become skilled hunters. The page is visually rich, featuring a large main illustration with the protagonists and various creatures, a smaller image of characters interacting, and screenshots showing a battle sequence and an animal status display. This page features an interview with the person known as Kokubun Meijin, Master Kokubun, discussing his experience with the game LindaCube and earning the title of Meijin. He explains that the game was incredibly fun for him, so much so that he voluntarily debugged it for hundreds of hours, even after his work duties were finished. He feels there's something about LindaCube that truly immerses players, with many aspects to latch onto, like processing hunted animals for food or weapons, or even training wolves into hunting dogs. The thrill of the hunt, especially encountering strange animals for the first time, was a major draw. The interview also touches upon the new Compete with Kokubun Meijin mode, introduced in the complete version. This mode challenges players to collect animals quickly, with the Meijin's progress shown at seasonal changes as a benchmark. The Meijin notes that the animal placement differs from the PlayStation version, requiring a different approach to collection. This mode is highlighted as a way to test one's hunting skills against the expert himself. A screenshot shows the game menu allowing players to turn this mode on or off and select difficulty options. The article concludes by inviting players to take on the challenge. This page features the striking cover artwork for LindaCube, specifically the complete version released on SEGA Saturn. The illustration depicts a diverse group of characters set against a detailed background. Prominently centered is a young woman with distinctive bright blue hair, extending her hands forward. Surrounding her are other characters, giving a sense of a party or crew. Text at the top reads, "Space Age, Start," and again, hinting at the game's themes or mechanics. The title, LindaCubed, is displayed boldly at the bottom, overlaid with white handprints, creating a memorable visual identity. Beneath the title, Japanese text provides details, noting it's a sci-fi thriller plus hunting RPG. Lists the release date as June 18, 98. The price confirms it's for SEGA Saturn, and credits the game design to Kuji Ida. The illustration is credited to Cannabis. This artwork perfectly captures the unique and slightly eerie atmosphere of the game. This page delves further into the unique world of LindaCube Complete, the SEGA Saturn exclusive version of the acclaimed title. The striking artwork shows key characters from the game, hinting at its blend of sci-fi, thriller, and hunting elements. The main vertical text boldly presents the game's full title in Japanese, translating to "The 101 Wild Animals Inside Her." The text describes the game as the ultimate psychothriller and hunting RPG, highlighting the deep psychological drama between humans and the unconventional world and system. A core mechanic is the collection of 120 species, totaling 240 creatures, which the player must capture. The narrative involves characters struggling against fate and a divinely appointed task to collect these animals, making players confront the preciousness of life. This complete version on SEGA Saturn includes special features. It comes bundled with a full soundtrack CD containing 23 tracks, including Linda's theme and production notes that reveal previously unknown details about the character Linda. Furthermore, exclusive to the SEGA Saturn, the game includes 4 distinct scenarios and adds new modes such as a time attack mode, plus a new gallery mode featuring movies and music. The page confirms the game's developer is Alpha System and publisher is ASC2 Corporation, with a copyright year of 1998. This page continues exploring LindaCube Complete, featuring an interview with Alpha Systems' Masaki Kokubu, who discusses the intricate hunting and time mechanics of the game. He explains that the process of achieving the goal of collecting all creatures is methodical, emphasizing the strategic use of camping. Kokubu details how camping is used not just for rest, but crucially to control the passage of in-game time. By camping frequently and moving short distances between camps, players can manipulate the time to find desired animals. This contradicts the common assumption that mastering the game is about knowing efficient travel routes. Instead, focusing on specific animal spawn points and time control is key. The article highlights that in-game time progression is governed by specific rules. Time essentially stops in menus, battles, and while camping. This mechanic is vital for strategies like leveling up efficiently. The recommended method for early leveling is using hunting dogs in areas where time does not pass, such as during battles, allowing characters like Ken and Linda to gain experience safely. Screenshots accompany the text, showing the camping menu, an outdoor area suggesting travel, and a battle scene, illustrating the mechanics being discussed. Kokubu notes that even mastering the game's initial seasons can take over 18 hours of real-world play, far longer than typical playthroughs, underscoring the depth of the game's systems. The next page dives deeper into the strategic use of in-game shops and systems in LindaCube Complete, following up on the discussion of hunting and time manipulation. It highlights that mastering the game involves understanding the subtle rules governing shops, particularly animal stores. Stock in animal shops changes over time, and visiting multiple shops when a good selection is found is a key technique. The page also details other useful locations: the dismantler, where hunted animals yield items, and the lottery, which offers bonuses, with specific mechanics for the first few tries. It touches upon the auction house, suggesting that the selection of animals available might be influenced by the number of times you ascend or descend the stairs beforehand, a peculiar in-game rule. Screenshots illustrate these points, showing the interiors of the dismantler and lottery shops, the inventory screen at the animal shop displaying various creatures, and the auction house staircase. Finally, it covers specific profitable strategies, such as selling the King Series items obtained from the Battle Park Arena, but notes they can only be sold to a specific collector NPC in a tent. Another profitable tip is processing certain captured animals, like the female Morio Shea, into items that fetch a high price, regardless of the animal's combat utility. The page emphasizes these down-to-earth methods for making progress and profit in the game world. This page is dedicated to the official art book for Princess Maker 3, Yumemiru Yusei. It serves as an advertisement for the book, prominently featuring illustrations of the game's protagonist, a young girl with purple hair, depicted in various scenes ranging from a beach and a flower field to a hot spring and a snowy landscape. The text highlights that the art book centers around the work of character designer Takami, aka. It promises to showcase a wealth of material, including original drawings, rough sketches, and in-game character graphics. Notably, it also includes new illustrations drawn specifically for the book by Takami, aka. The page provides details about the book's release, stating it is currently on sale for 2,200 yen. It is a full-color publication, 144 pages long, and printed in A4 size. Small screenshots at the bottom offer glimpses of the game's interface and event scenes. The book is published by SoftBank Publishing. This page serves as a mail-order catalog from Creative Human, presenting a selection of SEGA Saturn games and peripherals available for purchase. Customers could contact them by phone or fax to place orders, with details provided regarding operating hours, holidays, and shipping information. A special poster delivery service was available to ensure posters arrived unfolded, a thoughtful touch for collectors. The page features a diverse range of SEGA Saturn titles. Highlights include fan favorites like the intense shooter Radiant Silvergun, listed as a store recommendation, the epic RPG sequel Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, and the final chapter of the strategy series, Langrisser V, The End of Legend. Fighting game fans could find Super Gem Fighter Minimix, listed as Pocket Fighter, while survival horror enthusiasts were offered Deep Fear. Other notable games include Shining Force 2, Scenario 3, continuing the acclaimed strategy RPG, and Princess Maker 3, Yumemiru Yusei, a parenting simulation that connects to the art book featured previously. Beyond the games, essential hardware and accessories like the SEGA Saturn console, power memory backup cards, modems, and keyboards are also listed with their prices. All listed prices are subject to an additional 5% consumption tax. This page provided a direct avenue for fans to acquire many popular and niche SEGA Saturn releases and necessary equipment. This page features a column titled Koji Hayama's Men's Empire, Pro Wrestling Head Explosion, Live Seriously, where Koji Hayama, known as Aniki, answers readers' questions and concerns. He invites readers to send in their postcards. The main focus is a response to a letter from a 24-year-old reader who is working and financially secure, but is worried about death. Hayama delves into a discussion about living life seriously, asserting that facing difficulties is part of the process, and that having worries indicates you are living. He touches upon public etiquette issues in Japan, like littering and poor driving manners, as examples of a lack of social awareness. Addressing the reader's concern about death, Hayama shares personal experiences, including a past illness, where he faced the possibility of not living. He discusses suicide, referencing the death of musician Hyde from X-Japan, who is the same age as Hayama, and states that success doesn't automatically equal happiness. Ultimately, he argues that while death is a personal choice, causing grief to loved ones is not acceptable. He concludes by quoting the legendary pro wrestler Antonio Inoki's famous retirement speech about walking one's own path. The page includes an address for readers to send their questions and messages, as well as a URL for Koji Hayama's homepage. A small photo of Koji Hayama is also displayed. This page presents the SEGA Saturn Software Databank, a monthly feature covering game releases from November 1994 through June 1998. It serves as a comprehensive reference for readers, offering a quick overview of available software and aiding purchase decisions. The core of the page is a detailed table listing games by release date, providing essential information like the game title, developer, price, and genre. Crucially, it includes both the average review score from magazine readers and the official score given by the magazine's reviewers for games that receive dedicated coverage. This allows readers to compare community opinion with expert takes.
The database showcases a wide variety of titles and genres from the Saturn's early years.
Games like Virtua Fighter, Panzer Dragoon, Daytona USA, Magic Knight Rayearth, and Galactic Attack are listed with their respective scores. You can see reader favorites, like Virtua Fighter and Galactic Attack, consistently scoring high, alongside the magazine's own strong ratings. The table also includes notes on compatibility with peripherals or other relevant information. It's a valuable resource for anyone wanting to dive deep into the Saturn's extensive library and see how games were received at the time of release. The next page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, expanding the comprehensive list of games released for the console through late 1995 and early 1996. This section features titles across a wide spectrum of genres, including major hits like Virtua Fighter 2, the tactical RPG Sakura Wars, the fighting game Night Warriors, action titles such as Die Hard Arcade and Dragon Ball Z, strategy simulations like The Tower, and arcade ports such as Virtua Racing Saturn and X-Men Children of the Atom. For each game, the database provides the release date, developer, price, genre, and crucially, the average reader score and the magazine's review score, where applicable. Compatibility notes regarding peripherals like the mouse or control pads are also included. This ongoing list serves as an essential guide for navigating the diverse Saturn library and comparing community opinion with critical reception. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, picking up the timeline and covering software releases from April through August of 1996. This period saw a significant influx of titles, including some notable entries that would become classics. The databank maintains its format, detailing the release date, developer, price, genre, and, crucially, both the magazine's official review score and the average reader rating where available. Among the games listed are major releases, such as Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Mega Man X3, the arcade perfect ports of Donpachi, Fatal Fury 3, and Strikers 1945, the highly acclaimed Nights into Dreams, Wipeout, Saturn Bomberman, Puzzle Bobble 2, Virtua Fighter Kids, and Road Rash. The list showcases the diverse library available at the time, featuring fighting games, shooters, RPGs, racing titles, and puzzle games. It also includes a substantial number of titles specific to the Japanese market, particularly in the adventure, simulation, and mahjong genres, reflecting the console's broader appeal beyond just arcade ports. The table provides a valuable snapshot of the Saturn's busy release schedule during this key period, giving insight into both critical reception and player feedback. The next page continues the comprehensive SEGA Saturn software databank, covering releases from September through December of 1996. This period saw the release of several significant titles that further bolstered the Saturn's library across various genres. Among the highlights are the fighting game powerhouse Fighting Vipers, the classic strategy RPG Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen, the frantic shooter Sengoku Blade, and the arcade perfect Virtua Cop 2. Other notable entries include WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, World Heroes Perfect, the critically acclaimed Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Tetris Plus, and the quirky shooter Sexy Parodius. The list also features unique Japanese titles spanning simulation, mahjong, and adventure genres, demonstrating the diverse range of software available. As with previous entries in the databank, each game is listed with its release date, developer, price, genre, and the magazine's review score alongside the average reader rating. This provides a clear overview of both critical reception and player feedback during this busy release window for the console. While the table is extensive, it quickly conveys the sheer volume and variety of games hitting the market as 1996 drew to a close.
This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, cataloging releases from the early months of 1997. It covers games released in January, February, and March of that year. The list includes a variety of titles like the groundbreaking adventure Tomb Raider, the extensive fighting game Crossover Fighters Megamix, the popular arcade shooter Virtua Cop 2, and the intriguing Shin Seiki Evangelion game. Other notable entries range across genres, featuring releases like Tetris S, Nissan Presents GTR, and Space Jam. As before, the databank provides essential information for each game, including its release date, developer, genre, price, and both reader and magazine review scores. This section offers a concise overview of the diverse software hitting the Saturn in the first quarter of 1997. This page continues the comprehensive SEGA Saturn software databank, moving into the releases from April, May, and June of 1997. It provides the standard breakdown for each game, including the developer, genre, price, and those all-important reader and magazine review scores, giving you a snapshot of how these titles landed with the Saturn faithful. This period saw a diverse range of software hitting the console. We see major releases like the arcade racer Manx TT Superbike, the strategic Worms, the classic real-time strategy Command & Conquer, and the fantastic light gun shooter Metal Slug. Fighting game fans weren't left out with titles like Groove on Fight and the arcade port of Layer Section. The list also features a lot of simulation and niche Japanese titles, covering everything from baseball management simulators like J.League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru to dating sims, mahjong, and pachinko games. There are also solid platformers like Willy Wombat and puzzle games such as Baku Baku Animal and Puyo Puyo Sun, which also appeared as part of the SEGA Saturn Collection budget re-releases. Notably, this period includes significant titles for the Saturn's library, such as the beloved Sakura Wars, the classic RPG Albert Odyssey, Legend of Eldian, and the definitive console version of Sonic Jam, a must-have for any Sonic fan. The scores here vary widely, reflecting the eclectic mix of genres and target audiences, from highly hot-graded core experiences to more specialized entries. This page continues the comprehensive SEGA Saturn software databank, listing games released from July through October 1997, with their scores and relevant information. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, covering releases primarily from November and December of 1997, extending into January 1998. It lists a significant number of titles across various genres, detailing their prices, genres, reader and magazine review scores, and compatibility notes. This period saw the release of some absolute heavy hitters for the console. Titles like Panzer Dragoon Saga, Grandia, Shining Force 2i Scenario 1, and X-Men vs. Street Fighter are present, all receiving exceptional scores from both readers and the magazine staff, often highlighting their quality and, in some cases like X-Men, requiring the 4 MB RAM cartridge for optimal performance. The database also includes highly regarded visual novels such as Ufino, which garnered a very high reader score, and Machi, another sound novel favorite, praised by critics. While these major releases dominated the charts with high praise, the page also shows a wide range of other games, from simulation and strategy titles like Warcraft 2 and Marino Atelier to niche genres, with scores reflecting the diverse quality of the Saturn's late library. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, moving into the releases from February through June of 1998. It lists a host of games from this later period, detailing their release dates, developers, prices, genres, and most importantly, the reader and magazine review scores. While the Saturn's lifespan was drawing to a close, this page showcases some incredible titles that arrived late in the system's life. Standing out prominently is Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, which incredibly earned a perfect 10.0 score from the magazine staff, a rare feat reflecting its status as a masterpiece and a beloved entry in the series. Its high reader score also underscores its popularity. Other notable releases featured here include Dragon Force 2, a fantastic strategy RPG sequel, the challenging cult classic shooter battle Garega, and excellent compilations like Sega Ages, Phantasy Star Collection and Sega Ages, Power Drift, which brought classic Sega arcade and RPG experiences to the Saturn. You also see titles like The Legend of Heroes, A Tear of Vermilion, and the unique RPG Baroque. The database highlights the continued diversity of games hitting the console, from strategy and RPGs to shooters and visual novels, proving the Saturn went out with a strong library. This page presents a reader survey designed to solicit feedback
and gather information about the magazine's audience. It provides clear instructions and examples for filling out the survey postcard accurately, including how to code answers numerically. The questionnaire covers reader demographics like gender, age, and occupation, their gaming habits including how long they've owned a SEGA Saturn and other consoles, and their preferences for game genres and future software for the Dreamcast. It also asks readers to rate articles from the current issue and list the gaming hardware and software they own or plan to purchase. The page includes extensive lists to choose from. Table 1 details the articles in this issue. Table 2 lists various gaming hardware and peripherals. And Table 3 provides a comprehensive list of SEGA Saturn software titles. This software list is packed with legendary games from the console's library, such as Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Dragon Force, Astal, Grandia, Shining Force 2i, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Virtua Fighter 3, and Resident Evil 2, among many others, showcasing the depth of the Saturn's catalog at this time. This is a vital tool for the magazine to connect with its readership and understand the pulse of the gaming community. This page features official strategy guides for two essential SEGA Saturn simulation RPGs. The upper section highlights the officially exclusive strategy guide for Dragon Force 2, God Descends to the Earth. This substantial 144-page book offers an in-depth look at the game's extensive events and large cast of unique characters. It covers the intricate battle system, including troop formations, unit types, and special attacks, as well as domestic commands like personnel and searching. Detailed information on character events and complete lists of characters, items, and item synthesis methods are also included, making it a definitive resource for players. Below it is the official guidebook from SEGA for Shining Force 2i Scenario 2, The Targeted Child. This 144-page guide for the popular simulation RPG series provides vital information for players, including essential map data and a complete walkthrough covering up to the final stage. It details the locations of hidden items and introduces the enemies encountered throughout the game, focusing on crucial data points users need to progress. Both of these valuable guides are announced as being now on sale and are published by SoftBank, offering deep insights into these classic titles that were popular among SEGA Saturn owners, as seen by their inclusion in the previous page's survey. This page features an official strategy guide for the SEGA Saturn game, based on the popular anime series, Revolutionary Girl Utena, the story that will someday revolutionize the world. The text opens with the intriguing line, "The path you will take is prepared," setting the stage for the in-depth content within. This guide is highlighted as being created with full participation from the staff who worked on the TV anime, making it a unique blend of game strategy and anime fanbook. It promises comprehensive coverage of the game, detailing how to achieve all 10 possible endings, including specific routes for love endings with 4 members of the Student Council, as well as endings for the Utena arc and the Black Rose arcs. The guide is described as going beyond typical anime magazines, featuring content from the BPAS staff, and is an all-color, 128-page book published by SoftBank, illustrated throughout with key characters from the series including Utena Tenju and Anthy Himemiya, and featuring new cover art by Shinya Hasegawa of BPAS. This guide aims to be a definitive resource for fans looking to fully explore the game's narrative depth and unlock its secrets. It is scheduled for release in mid-June, priced at 1,200 yen. This page serves as the splash page for a major strategy guide section in the magazine, titled Complete Strategy Guide for SEGA Saturn Software. It features prominent anime character artwork, strongly suggesting the focus on specific game genres. The page highlights that it's packed with data and picks out crucial points, offering a thorough guide to recently released titles. The list of covered games includes major releases, like Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, the unique simulation title Deserted Island Story R, Two-Person Love Island, the mecha action game Multilancer Reinforce, the narrative-driven Revolutionary Girl Utena, the story that will someday revolutionize the world, Shadows of the Tusk, and the popular RPG Shining Force 2i Scenario 2. The diverse characters depicted likely represent some of these games, particularly given the strong presence of mecha and RPGs. This section is clearly designed to provide in-depth assistance for players tackling these latest Saturn hits. This page dives into a crucial strategy guide for Super Robot Wars Final Chapter, focusing on selecting the right units to guarantee victory in the endgame. The guide breaks down units by their key strengths. One section highlights units excelling in evasion, like the Gundam F-91 and Hyukabane, which can minimize damage even from powerful attacks. Another section focuses on units with excellent continuous combat ability, featuring units like the Dunbine, Elgaim Mk2, and full armor Hyakushiki Kai, noting their ability to deal high damage consistently with efficient energy usage. The guide also points out secretly strong units such as the Quabli Mk2, Vinya Gina, and Nugundam, which, while not always frontline mainstays, become incredibly valuable assets when properly upgraded. Finally, it covers the importance of recovery and supply units for leveling up your pilots efficiently. The screenshots illustrate battle maps and unit stat screens, providing visual context for the strategies discussed. The reviewer clearly emphasizes picking units based on tactical advantage rather than just personal favorites to overcome the game's toughest challenges. Episode 68, Wandering Light of Fate in Super Robot Wars, F Final Chapter, Posital Route, presents a challenging scenario. Players face initial Titans forces from below, including Alexandria's and Gabthly's. A defensive line is recommended, with units guarding the mothership, especially against approaching Gabthly's piloted by Jared and Moore. Retreat at less than 30% HP. Turn 3 sees Psycho Gundams appear from the left, followed by Buff Clan forces. Gabuzans, Bow units, around turn 4. Defeating an Alexandra early prevents the Psycho Gundam spawn. Duo joins on turn 5, but his starting location may make him late to the main battle. Crucially, defeating Gabuzankin triggers Ideon's devastating ranged attacks. Avoid positioning friendly units within Ideon's blast radius. Successful completion leads to dialogue between Posital and Sirocco, foreshadowing future plot developments. The episode demands strategic unit placement, anticipation of reinforcement waves, and awareness of key trigger events. In Super Robot Wars, F Final Chapter, Episode 69, The Fray on the Sand, players must protect key units while defeating enemies. Initially, players encounter Federal and Posital forces. The goal is to eliminate all enemies, but certain Posital units should be left alive initially. On turn 1, deploy Londbel units to protect Hero Yui, Mercurius, and Troa Barton, Vayat, who are near Federal forces. Their survival is critical. On turn 3, DC forces appear. Defeat most to trigger Rafflesia units, which drop valuable funds. These should be eliminated quickly. Turn 6 brings Quattro Rabariba winner in the Wing Gundam Zero. A crucial event happens on turn 8 if Hero, Troa, and Quattro are alive. To ensure this, prevent Hero and Troa, NPCs, from attacking Quattro. Use high-mobility units to draw fire and potentially use Provoke on Quattro to change his course. Successfully triggering this event is beneficial for the game. Episode 70 of Super Robot Wars, F, Posital Route, tasks players with defeating all enemies without ally destruction. The scenario starts with Daba and Amandara, with reinforcement options dependent on unit upgrades. Turn 3 brings in Londbel allies. Players must persuade Full Flat, requiring a prior battle between her and the LGAIM. Defeat Full Flat, and then target Jebi's Orgus barrier, exploiting close-range weaponry. From turn 6 the Buff Clan appears, followed by Doppel and Kiaya on turn 7. Counter their high evasion with Sure Hit, while being wary of the Gel Oscillator map weapon used by Garubo Jiku units, which have a large attack range. Special conversations occur between specific units, adding tactical depth. This page covers Episode 68, titled, Wish Sprinkled Around, for the DC route in Super Robot Wars F, covering both Real and Super Robot Series units. The objective is to defeat all enemies on the colony within 6 turns. Failure occurs if 6 turns pass, or all your units are destroyed. The guide emphasizes using units with 2 actions from the start to quickly close the distance to the colony. Be particularly wary of reinforced Hermes and Brow Bro 2 units, which also have 2 actions and high attack power. Prioritize taking down the Brow Bro 2 initially. From turn 2 onwards, more minor enemies with 2 actions appear, which the guide advises prioritizing due to their high danger level. Around turn 4, Buff Clan reinforcements arrive. While not individually strong, their map weapons, like Garubo Jiku's Gel Oscillator, which reduces HP and morale, require caution. Defeating both the initial DC force and the Buff Clan clears the stage. A key event involves unlocking the Ideon gun. Defeat Gaburo Zan, which triggers reinforcements, and an Ideon event. Defeating these subsequent reinforcements unlocks the Ideon gun map weapon. Finally, the page provides preparation advice for the upcoming scenario, warning that deployable units will be limited and enemies will be high-level and powerful. The guide strongly recommends assigning skilled pilots to the available units and using upgrade parts to enhance their capabilities, showing examples of pilot/unit pairings and potential upgrades like adding a psycho frame to the Zeta Gundam.
Episode 69 of Super Robot Wars FDC Route tasks players with defeating all enemies. Early game strategy emphasizes defense for the first 5 turns, picking off foes carefully, especially the powerful black Tristars. Gundam Epion joins as an allied NPC. From turn 6, reinforcements arrive. Focus on destroying Kishiria's Dross. Reducing its HP below 40% forces DC enemies to retreat, but defeating it grants a substantial 40,000 money reward, double linkable with fortune. Ignore the reckless Noin unit. Her defeat has no consequence. The guide also advises preparing for the next stage by adjusting pilot assignments in the intermission, as Amuro and Quattro will be pre-assigned to specific units, New Gundam and Hyakushiki full armor, and may start vulnerable. This page covers episode 70, titled The Sword That Cuts Light. In the DC route for Super Robot Wars, the main objective is to invade the real Sol Ray within 15 turns. The guide immediately presents a key decision: whether to use a concentration strategy or a dispersion strategy. The dispersion strategy allows each target point, A, B, C, to have its own 15-turn limit, but restricts unit deployment to only 1 point. The concentration strategy allows you to attack points sequentially, but the 15-turn limit is cumulative across all attempts. Crucially, the guide reveals the real Sol Ray is located at Point Circa. While the concentration strategy has a strict overall turn limit, the guide recommends it, especially attacking points A and B first before C. This allows you to earn experience points from clearing the enemy forces at each location. Since the real target is known, the risk of hitting fake Sol Rays multiple times and running out of turns is mitigated. Clearing points A or B also provides helpful bonuses like HP and SP recovery and unit repairs, preparing you for the final push. The guide notes that units capable of acting twice are particularly valuable on this map. This Super Robot Wars F-Guide section details the DC routes episode 70, focusing on Sol Ray Point Conquest. Point B is a slightly harder version of A, with manageable enemies. Points A and B should be cleared efficiently in 3 to 4 turns each, keeping ammunition in mind. Point C holds the actual Sol Ray and features superior enemies, necessitating altered tactics. Key enemies like Gato and Carius at S are high-priority targets due to significant funds. The guide also addresses morale, clarifying that sortieing decreases morale, while resting on the map or clearing it recovers it. Units with 0 morale recover on the next map. Regarding unit deployment, main units should be used across all points A, B, and C for experience gain. Units needing high morale should prioritize A and C. For experience or less critical units, A and B are recommended. Powerful units like Cybuster excel in A and C. The overall strategy emphasizes prioritizing units for growth. This page provides a guide to item searching in Deserted Island Story R. Two-person Love Island. It explains that finding points of interest and hidden items is entirely dependent on the party's attention stat. Each location and item has an associated index value, and you can only discover it if the average attention of your 2 characters is equal to or higher than that index. The main content is a list of areas on the island, numbered 1 through 16. For each area, it details the points and items that can be found there and their required attention index. For example, Area 1 lists Slightly Bright Woods with an index of 5, where you can find Papaya with an index of 13. Area 3, Deep Woods, index 40, contains Jujube, index 20. The list covers numerous locations across the island, including various types of forests, grasslands, caves, beaches, and the final main camp. The page includes screenshots showing the game's map screen with points marked, a specific item detail, and several of the game's female characters. The game is noted as an 18+ romance survival simulation from KSS. This page continues the guide for Deserted Island Story R. Two-person Love Island,
beginning with advice on how to select your starting party member, suggesting different choices that influence which character joins you. It notes that these options are particularly useful for subsequent playthroughs, allowing players to aim for specific outcomes with different partners. The page then details the essential system of bartering available in the game's native villages. There are two distinct villages, one belonging to the Tsunta tribe, and the other to the Parairu tribe. These locations are highlighted as critical for obtaining valuable ingredients necessary for cooking and survival. The guide explains that trade in these villages can only be conducted using the 5 different types of gems found on the island. It emphasizes the importance of acquiring animals like goats and chickens, which provide daily resources such as milk and eggs. Screenshots show villagers and the process of obtaining gems. 2 tables list the items available for exchange in each village and the specific gems and quantities required for each trade, covering resources like various food items, livestock, and other survival necessities. Visiting these villages and mastering the bartering system is presented as a key element for success in the game. This page continues the strategy guide for Deserted Island Story R. 2-person Love Island, focusing on how to achieve the best endings with the female characters. The guide emphasizes that reaching the best ending requires maintaining a high love level and triggering all of a girl's unique events. This section specifically details the event conditions for 2 of the girls, Doko Kikumura and Yuzuka Hamasaki, out of the 8 available partners. The page presents a list of key events for each girl, outlining the necessary conditions to trigger them, such as required character stats, trust, mood, love level, specific locations, or times of day. While the events generally occur in a set order, the guide notes that the sequence can sometimes change based on how exploration points are discovered. Additionally, the page highlights each girl's favorite date spots. It explains that taking a girl to a location she likes will deepen your relationship, whereas taking her somewhere she dislikes will have a negative effect. Identifying these preferred spots, like the cave or hot springs for Yuzuka, is crucial for effective dating. Character portraits and screenshots illustrate the girls and a male character who provides hints about dating strategies, suggesting simple sweet talk can be effective. This guide aims to help players navigate the relationship aspects of the game effectively. This guide focuses on building relationships with Natsuno Morishita and Rika Nakajima in Deserted Island Story Year. It provides event lists for each, outlining key moments triggered by trust, mood, love levels, and location visits. For Natsuno, events involve the battlefield cemetery. For Rika, the strange village is important. Favorite date spots are also listed. Key spots for Natsuno include the ancient ruins and battlefield cemetery. Rika favors the strange village and sturdy building. While optimal conversation choices are less crucial than avoiding negative ones, managing food is essential for reaching the high final event requirements. The guide also explains the girls' requests for partnerships, emphasizing the importance of accepting village visit requests for item exchange. Finally, it warns against accepting Old Man Maguro's little wish due to the severe negative impact on your partner's status, especially if she's your main romantic target. This page dives deep into mastering special weapons and effects in Multi-Lancer Reinforces. The game, a dramatic simulation, offers unique weapons and special effects that change depending on the scenario and the partner character you are teamed up with. Utilizing these effectively is key to succeeding in the later stages of the game. Crafted weapons are a major focus, created by working together with your partners. The requirements for crafting, like high approval and cooperation, become important. These crafted weapons aren't just powerful, they unlock special effects. Equipping them is the prerequisite for accessing these unique abilities. The guide highlights mechanics unique to each major chapter. The Inspector chapter features powerful combination techniques performed with partners under specific battle conditions. Quote, the Commander chapter grants the main character, Landy, a special combat status simply by equipping crafted weapons. Quote, the Searcher chapter introduces coordination abilities, allowing Landy to fight in sync with partners based on conditions like HP or PP levels. Screenshots illustrate the status screen, showing equipped crafted weapons and Landy's special state, as well as menu screens related to crafting and battle commands, confirming the depth of these interlocking systems. This complex system of crafting and partner abilities adds significant strategic depth to the game's combat. This guide provides a tactical walkthrough for the Commander chapter in Multi-Lancer Reinforce, focusing on events in 2089. Players are advised to check event dates and prepare stamina per horsepower for frequent battles. The guide details events chronologically, including dates, event types, service, party, dialogue choices, battle outcomes, and partner selections. Specific events like refreshing patrol, audition venue security, gravity anchor control, and downtown terrorist alert are explained with screenshots. These events involve strategic choices impacting battles and outcomes.
A crucial element is partner affection and cooperation.
The guide emphasizes raising these levels to unlock further service events. Players should strive to maintain a smiling level or higher with partners to access more content, highlighting the importance of relationship management alongside combat skills. This page continues the tactical guide for the Commander chapter of Multilancer Reinforce, detailing events from late 2089 into 2090. The guide provides a chronological walkthrough, listing dates, event types, character availability, battle requirements, and key dialogue or action choices. It highlights significant plot points like the Document Organization event, where Patty reappears having gone missing, setting up her role as a rival later. Other events covered include attacks on Syndicate strongholds, further refreshing patrol events, and a second gravity anchor control mission. The guide specifies which characters can participate in different events, such as June, Nana, Sylvia, Angela, and Mel, and notes where battles occur. There's also mention of a Christmas event requiring a high cooperation parameter with a specific character. The section on Patty in the Commander chapter summarizes her arc from disappearance to becoming a rival, noting her growth and the complex dynamic with Randy. The guide reinforces the importance of following specific previous events to unlock later ones. The next page offers a detailed strategy guide for the SEGA Saturn adventure game Revolutionary Girl Utena, Story of the Rose Crest, specifically focusing on the Sayoji Kyoichi route. It's presented as a complete strategy manual, aiming to help players achieve his ending, which the guide notes is sometimes missed. Key to achieving character-specific endings, particularly the love-love ending, is increasing their heart's nobility stat to 100% and triggering specific character events. The guide explains how success in duels is also essential. If the love-love conditions aren't met, the player will instead see a normal ending or perfect ending. The page includes a walkthrough chart for the Sayoji route, outlining daily events, locations, dialogue options, and the corresponding stat changes. It features an illustration of Sayoji and screenshots showing the character status screen, with the heart's nobility stats and event scenes. The guide emphasizes the importance of the heart's nobility stat, visually represented by a blooming rose next to the character's name on the status screen when it's high. It also notes that checking stats via the student handbook is crucial.
The walkthrough provides specific choices to make to raise compatibility with Utena and Sayoji.
This guide focuses on the early days of the Saionji route in Revolutionary Girl Utena, Story of the Rose Crest. It details how to build affinity with Saionji on the 22nd, starting with the transfer day, and emphasizing careful dialogue choices during the masked ball to improve his initial impression. The 23rd is crucial for boosting his stats through key interactions, like comforting him after a match, finding him after school, and exchanging diaries with Enrethi. Visiting the Japanese tea room is also recommended. The 24th revolves around Saionji's intensive training. The guide stresses the importance of choosing options that let you witness this event, even if it means temporarily separating from Enrethi, especially during the club activities section. Successfully navigating these early days is key to a successful route. This page continues the guide for the Saionji route in Revolutionary Girl Utena, Story of the Rose Crest. It details the dramatic events of the late night on the 24th and the final day, the 25th. The guide highlights a significant love-love event where Saionji collapses from intense training in the rain, leading to his hospitalizations. Screenshots show Saionji collapsing and Utena visiting him in the hospital. This event dramatically increases Saionji's affinity level. The final day, the 25th, involves waking up to find Saionji gone from the hospital. The guide directs players through key locations, like the school gates and classroom,
leading to the confrontation and subsequent escape from the basement with Saionji, requiring the player to defeat other student council members. The climax involves the final duel against Tuga, resulting in Utena's victory, and a look at the epilogue which, while featuring Utena and Enkanthi, is described as slightly sad for Saionji. The page confirms that successfully following this path leads to Saionji having a final affinity of 260%. Additionally, there's a section dedicated to a fan page recruitment called the White Rose Society, soliciting fan art, manga, and character popularity votes. It also mentions the release of the official guide on June 11th, hinting it contains detailed information on the game's endings. Artwork of Utena, Antiope, and Saionji is featured alongside this section.
Map 7, Gate of Time, in Shadows of the Tusk, presents a challenge before Tusk's castle. The key enemy is Cyclops, possessing high HP and the Earthquake ability, which damages all ground-based characters.
Maximilian joins as a new ally.
The recommended strategy involves prioritizing the elimination of other enemies and utilizing high HP or flying characters to avoid Earthquake's damage. A flying focus deck, leveraging Rebecca's flight-granting ability, is strongly advised to completely nullify the threat. Summoning Harry Webb and Albrecht early is recommended. The map also introduces 3 new rare B characters: Hangman, defensive, self-healing, and berserk; Graveyard Knight, offensive, HP draining and damage recovering; and Cloud, area attack hand grenade.
This guide offers intermediate strategies for Shadows of the Tusk, emphasizing practice mode for deck experimentation. It advises acquiring key early characters like Richard and Shenna in versus mode. Strategic deck building hinges on character synergies, even exploiting enemy effects. For instance, using Calvados Acid on Kendra enhances her attack. Specific deck strategies include a Shenna color deck, which capitalizes on her summoning ability and adjacency boosts, with Zadok for late-game mana. A Kendra nurturing deck focuses on acid-enhanced Kendra with healing from Celeste. A bold strategy involves an early-game Maximilian rush. The guide also covers mana management, stressing predictive use. Finally, it features rare B character profiles, including the Hellhound, Black Bison, and Savage Machine, highlighting their abilities and tactical considerations. This page dives into Shining Force 2, Scenario 2, The Targeted Child, focusing on the events aboard the Seagate ship. The main objective is to pursue Fjarl and Rainblood, who have kidnapped Gracia and fled to the Seagate. General Equial joins the force to help, and they board the ship. However, the enemy awaits them, prepared for a naval battle. Detailed data for enemy units encountered in battles 19 and 20 are provided, including stats and tactics for units like the False Faith Priest, Cruel General, Wing Knight, and various soldiers and mages. A map of the Seagate's interior is shown, labeling key areas like the main camp, sick bay, item shop, captain's room, and more, indicating where players can find items or trigger events. The guide explains the conditions for triggering events on the ship, detailing interactions with allies, and plot progression as you navigate the vessel. There's also a list of items available for purchase at the ship's shop, including various weapons and recovery items. Finally, specific items and treasure box locations are highlighted, such as mithril shards and silver for weapon upgrades found in the treasury and item shop, and valuable recovery items like Milk of Protection and Healing Water located in the captain's room. A portrait of General Equial is featured, along with a screenshot showing a scene on the river with a character speaking. The guide poses the question of where General Equial goes next, hinting at future events. This guide covers battles 19 and 20, in Shining Force 3, Scenario 1. Battle 19 is a naval siege where players must destroy shipgun turrets while avoiding enemy fire, considering turret durability and unit vulnerability. Battle 20 takes place on a ship, requiring players to defeat the Arrogant Prince and Cruel General. Strategies for navigating the battle and unit placement are detailed, along with the revelation that the Arrogant Prince is a False Faith Priest. Defeating Cruel also rewards a T-shaped key. A section titled Scenario 3 teases future events, featuring Julian, Gracia, and Dawnhort. It hints at an Imperial battleship carrying Prince Presby, and a plan for Julian and others to aid Destonia, splitting the party. This page is dedicated to Grandia fans, featuring a collection of feedback and thoughts on the critically acclaimed RPG. While acknowledging the appeal of the Digital Museum bonus disc, the focus here is firmly on the main game experience. Fan comments highlight the game's strengths, praising the exciting polygon graphics in towns, the enjoyable combat system, and the fantastic music, particularly the opening and main themes. However, some critiques are also shared, touching upon the story not resonating with everyone, issues with item management as inventory fills up quickly, and the difficulty feeling a bit uneven at times. A particularly interesting comment notes the appearance of FEAR, a company known for tabletop RPGs, in the credits, resonating with a player who is also a TRPG enthusiast.
The page features illustrations of characters like Justin and Sue, showcasing the game's charming art style as seen through the eyes of its fans and potentially official art. The overall tone is one of appreciation for the game, with specific points raised about elements that stood out, for better or worse. This page celebrates Grandia through its digital museum content and fan contributions. It highlights 27 memorable moments from both discs, spanning key plot points, intense battles, and various endings. Fans share their experiences, with one detailing multiple playthroughs and Fina's magic mastery, and another describing a water magic strategy for the final battle. The popularity contest reveals Fina as the leading character with 86 votes, followed by Rap and Lyot. Justin and Sue complete the top 5. Popular quotes are also showcased.
The current illustration features Justin practicing swordsmanship. The page encourages further fan engagement through illustrations, contest votes, and contributions to the digital museum content for future issues. This page is the 10th installment of the Amadio Club fan page, featuring contributions from readers. The fan mail section includes comments on games like Desire and the Eve series, discussing gameplay experiences, getting tricked by plot points, and concerns about the series' future on different platforms. One reader offers thoughts on the cost performance of games. The page showcases several fan illustrations, including Art of Marie from the Atelier series, a character named Tina, and characters Monica and Mena, whose angry face is cute. There's also a short fan comic. A major announcement is prominently featured: the release of a value pack containing both Eve Burst Error and Eve the Lost One. This pack is set to launch on July 2, 1998, priced at 9,800 yen. It includes a special metallic sleeve case for the 8 discs, a B2 original poster, and a chance to win an A4 illustration card through a limited serial number lottery for the first 100 buyers. This is a great deal for fans wanting both titles. The page concludes with another piece of fan art featuring 2 characters. The Amadio Club's latest update features Takahashi's column promoting the PS title Merriment Carrying Caravan. The game, releasing August 6th, is a raising simulation where players manage a caravan business and raise their daughters after the wife's death. Players must navigate the tragic storyline and impact outcomes based on their choices. The game features 4 daughters: Claire, Janet, Becky, and Connie, each with distinct personalities. The article also includes warnings about the game's compatibility, stating it's not playable on several systems. Additionally, a popularity contest for Multilancer Reinforced characters is announced, offering clear files as prizes. Readers can vote for their favorites, including Randy, Melvina, Sakuya, Nana, June, Angela, and Shilvi, with entries due by June 4th. This page features the weekly official corner, SEGA AM2 Express Volume 102, highlighting a major scoop: the advanced course for Daytona USA 2, Battle on the Edge. Dubbed the Super Long Course, it's presented as the longest track in game history, named New York City. The article details the challenging and varied layout of the New York City course, which goes far beyond the usual beginner tracks. It takes players through diverse environments, from racing through valleys of towering skyscrapers, to vast open plains, a harbor area, and even a split-path section called the Dual Way. Screenshots showcase different segments of the track, including the starting grid, the urban jungle, the transition to the open plains, and sections featuring loops and tunnels. The text emphasizes the beautiful and dynamic scenery, noting the attention to subtle directional cues and environmental details scattered throughout the course, making it more than just a long track, but an immersive experience. It also briefly mentions the Fighting Vipers. 2 all techniques reveal in the contents section. Daytona USA 2's New York City track, designed with an F-first street circuit aesthetic, offers a significant visual and gameplay upgrade. This advanced course boasts detailed city streets, a vibrant harbor, and varied environments including a park, tunnels, and a hill with city views. Key features like the suspicious parking area and dual way suggest strategic elements. The track's extended length and increased polygon count, 2 to 3x that of the original game's advanced course, reflect the development team's ambition. The track's creator, Osaki, highlights the challenging development process but believes the finished product surpasses the original, with intense time attack gameplay and incorporating personal design preferences like the loop and dual way to enhance complexity and visual appeal. This page focuses on the cutting-edge moving cabinet for Daytona USA 2. It features an interview with Motohiko Higashiguchi,
the cabinet design manager at SEGA AM4R&D. He discusses the deluxe cabinet, highlighting its full motion capabilities as a significant evolution from previous arcade racers like Scud Race, which only had partial movement. The interview emphasizes the design's focus on letting players fully experience the fun of crashing and competitive racing. A key feature is the base shaker, strategically placed under the feet and back of the seat. This shaker provides physical feedback, simulating impacts differently depending on whether the car is hit from the front or rear. Higashiguchi also mentions subtle design changes, like the angle of the pedals or steering wheel, which are fine-tuned to enhance the realistic driving feel. The article includes photos of the Daytona USA 2 Deluxe cabinet, close-ups of the steering wheel and gearshift, and a portrait of Mr. Higashiguchi. Games mentioned in the interview for comparison include Scud Race and Sega Rally 2. This page continues the interview with Motohiko Higashiguchi about the Daytona USA 2 cabinet design. He explains subtle refinements, like the steering wheel angle, set at 25 degrees for player preference, and the angled shift lever for ease of use. The design prioritized creating the stock car feel, which meant focusing on raw sensation over detailed instrumentation like a speedometer. Higashiguchi highlights visual elements like the lighting on the billboards and behind the cabinet, contributing to the atmosphere. He also discusses the steering feel, noting it's designed to convey the motion of the car and cabinet, not just simple resistance. The page also showcases the design process, featuring conceptual illustrations and detailed engineering drawings of the cabinet, demonstrating the effort put into its creation. Images include the Daytona USA 2 twin cabinet and a photo of a real stock car cockpit, emphasizing the inspiration behind the design. This page delves into the world of Fighting Vipers 2. There's a curious section titled, "What Are They Up To?" and Teddy Bear's Casual Chat, which seems to discuss an unusual phenomenon, the apparent proliferation of Emmy's partner, the Teddy Mech, within the game's advertisement or demo sequence. Director Kataoka weighs in, suggesting this might be an interactive demo rather than pre-rendered movie playback, perhaps a mischievous programmer's doing, allowing for more bears to appear dynamically. Following this intriguing mystery, the page presents the second part of the complete move list guide, featuring the remaining characters. It highlights that this guide is special because it includes some hidden or unofficial techniques discovered by the magazine's dedicated and small strategy team. The focus of this particular segment is on the character Del Sol, showcasing artwork and screenshots of him in action, along with a list of his special moves and their commands, noting that the move names are temporary. It's a great resource for players looking to master the remaining fighters and uncover secret techniques. This page focuses on the powerful character Mahler from Fighting Vipers 2, presented as "This Man, No Blind Spots." He's described as a character who complements his strong strikes with a variety of throws, possessing excellent balance between offensive speed and defensive hardness. The guide suggests he's an easy-to-choose character perfect for beginners. The page includes a comprehensive move list for Mahler, detailing his techniques, the commands needed to execute them, their attack properties like high, middle, low, armor-breaking capabilities, and notes. Key pickup combinations are highlighted, including linking his strong fist into throws or follow-up attacks, like the Jiao Crack kick if the opponent guards. Another focuses on using hooks, followed by throws or uppercuts, noting that a delayed input is effective if the opponent tries to guard standing. A lengthy combination involving slow hook, upper, and leading into a throw is presented as a versatile, highly delayed attack that can set up further offense. Finally, a combo starting with reverse spin low kick leading into strong upper, and the Jiao Crack kick is shown as a strong follow-up after knocking the opponent down, noting that the low kick itself is effective against opponents getting up. There's also a tip about effectively using Mahler's downhammer technique, especially against opponents launched low by attacks like San Hengman's double upper, emphasizing its quick execution and versatility. The page footnotes explain the command notation and attack property symbols used in the move list. The next page focuses on Tokiyuki, presented as an all-round master, specializing in combinations in Fighting Vipers 2. Known for his distinctive long reach, he maintains this while mastering a variety of weapons for close combat. Described as a character who excels at combinations, the content suggests he's returned to shed his weak character reputation and encourages players to build his legend. The page features a detailed move list for Tokiyuki, outlining his techniques, execution commands, attack properties, and notes. 3 key combinations are highlighted. The first, sit jab to throw technique, demonstrates using a quick low jab to set up a throw or follow-up attacks, particularly effective against opponents attempting counters. The second, break open to low spin kick, discusses using break open for counters, or delaying follow-ups like low spin kick or open straight for mix-ups. The third, pro dancer cancel to low spin kick, suggests offensive tactics against opponents getting up, using moves like lightning arrow or low spin kick startup, emphasizing the utility of canceling pro dancer for unpredictable attacks. Screenshots illustrate these highlighted combinations.
This page focuses on Grace from Fighting Vipers 2, presenting her as a character with countless beautiful techniques. The prominent artwork depicts Grace in her distinctive rollerblade-equipped armor, ready for action. The accompanying text highlights her flexible legs and sharp, exquisite techniques, noting her nickname, Skate Queen, is well earned. It also mentions her strong defensive options and multi-hit attacks, suggesting a playstyle focused on using these techniques to overcome opponents. The page features a detailed list of Grace's moves, covering her technique names, commands, attack properties, and notes, though it's too extensive to detail here. 4 specific combination examples are highlighted with screenshots and descriptions. The first demonstrates using camel spin and following up with sit spin or camel spin cutter after an initial hit. The second combo explores follow-ups after landing Vulcan leg, suggesting options like sit spin or a quick somersault kick. The third focuses on continuing pressure after stunning an opponent with moves like blade slash or camel spin cutter, utilizing long reach attacks or throws. Finally, the fourth combo details knocking down the opponent with sit spin 4 and following up with cross blade launch or continuing into further sit spin variations leading to a cross kick. A 1-point tip also suggests using sit spin effectively for pursuing downed opponents, mentioning counter hits, and using running beat to set up follow-ups. This page shifts focus to Picky, another character from Fighting Vipers 2. He's described as having gained polish with the addition of numerous new techniques, emphasizing cunning and tricky offense. The text suggests his playstyle embodies the proverb, "Many strokes fell a mighty oak," highlighting persistence and building up damage. The page features a large table detailing Picky's move list, including techniques, commands, attack properties, and notes, providing a comprehensive guide for players. Several combination examples are showcased. The first focuses on setups following knee and high spin, noting the frame advantage for certain follow-ups. The second combination explores using hooks, particularly emphasizing following up with throws, or linking into moves like double hook. The third demonstrates a sequence starting with an uppercut, leading into board bash, and continuing pressure with moves like rabbit hook, aiming to juggle the opponent. A 1-point section discusses the 2 different inputs for board slap, noting the distinct timing and execution difference between them, with one method being faster to execute. This page is dedicated to Jane, the Flaming Warrior, in Fighting Vipers 2. While her raw pushing power might feel slightly diminished, her ability to control the fight's flow and build momentum is emphasized as being superior to the previous game. The article highlights mastering both her hard-hitting single attacks and powerful combinations as the key to unleashing her true potential. Several combo examples are showcased, including setups like double clap into a throw, using Achilles heel to knock down opponents followed by spin power hook, canceling tornado punch into throws for mix-ups, and following up after knocking opponents down with double power smash. The page also includes a complete move list for Jane, detailing her commands and attack properties. A specific 1-point section notes a crucial mechanic. Breaking an opponent's upper armor enables Jane's combo switch upper to become a continuous attack, allowing for extended combos, a feature reminiscent of the original game, encouraging players to prioritize armor destruction. This page dives into the specifics of Honey from Fighting Vipers 2. Honey is described as a character who relies heavily on feints and cancels to overcome her weakness in direct exchanges. Her effectiveness is said to depend entirely on the player's skill, making her a highly technical character. The page highlights her combination potential with 3 specific examples: a cat scratch sequence that leads into a throw mix-up, the honey swing into torpedo cat heel which can bait guards and set up throws, and a peach tap followed by a cancelled cat upper that can disrupt the opponent's rhythm and allow for a throw. A key tip is given that techniques like dipe rolling upper and dipe rolling dip provide advantage even when blocked, encouraging aggressive offense and throws against defensive opponents. The page also includes Honey's complete move list, detailing the commands and properties for all her attacks. This page focuses on Sandman from the original Fighting Vipers. It acts as a comprehensive guide to the character, highlighting his unique strengths, despite what the text suggests are weakened standard attacks. The core of Sandman's strategy, as presented here, revolves around his powerful throws and devastating bound combos. The page includes his full move list with command inputs and properties, detailing everything from basic punches and kicks to special moves and throws. Several key combinations are broken down with screenshots, illustrating how to transition from hits into throws, or utilize attacks that induce a bounce for follow-up damage, such as the Sandman upper into throws, or the double power hammer leading into the potent elbow smash. The guide also emphasizes the critical role of down throws, like the giant swing, for dealing significant damage after certain attacks leave the opponent vulnerable. A flowchart visually maps out the various routes and potential follow-ups from his overdrive and overblow throws, showing both successful and unbreakable throw combos. Overall, the page positions Sandman as a character who excels at seizing momentary opportunities for throws and maximizing damage through calculated combinations. This page features a follow-up special on the Dreamcast, delving into the details of Sega's successor to the Saturn. It discusses the initial reactions from reading the previous report, noting that many Saturn users seem perplexed by the sudden information about the new hardware. The article aims to gather all available information, synthesize it, and present it clearly. It highlights the key figures from influential software makers, creators, and notable personalities were interviewed to explore the future direction of the Dreamcast, offering their first impressions and insights into its potential. The page visually showcases the Dreamcast logo, a close-up of the controller, and images representing the hardware like the SHA-4 processor chip. Additionally, there are smaller images that appear to be early concept art or visuals, hinting at the graphical capabilities and potential types of experiences on the new console, including a stylized human head in a city setting and a rendered female character in a snowy environment. There's also a photo that seems to capture a meeting or interview related to the feature. This page follows up on the Dreamcast special, titled, "The Possibility of That Dream," with vertical text emphasizing the future of Sega's new hardware as told by those involved. It provides a technical deep dive into the Dreamcast's performance capabilities. The page showcases the Dreamcast console prominently. The core content is a list of the console specifications, detailing the SHEC 4128-bit CPU, the Power 2 graphics engine capable of over 3 million polygons per second, and the 32-bit sound processor with 64 channels. It also lists the system memory, modem speed, the custom Microsoft Windows CE operating system, and the CRE-DROM drive. A significant portion focuses on the advanced graphical features supported, such as bump mapping for creating texture detail, fog effects, alpha blending for transparency, MIP mapping, trilinear filtering, anti-aliasing to smooth edges, environment mapping for realistic reflections, and specular effects for surface gloss. Data saving is noted to utilize the visual memory unit. The page concludes with the physical dimensions and weight of the console. This technical breakdown supports the previous page's discussion by providing concrete details about the hardware enabling the dream of its future capabilities. This page provides a detailed look at the Dreamcast, following up on the special feature. It frames the console's development in the context of Sega's situation after the Saturn's performance, presenting the Dreamcast as a crucial next step. It delves into the system's core specifications, confirming the powerful Hitachi SHA-4 CPU and NEX Power VR2 graphics engine, capable of impressive polygon counts, as well as the 16 MB of main memory and Microsoft Windows CE cooperation for easier development. The choice of CD-ROM media is discussed, noting the high density format capable of over 1 GB, effective against piracy, despite the lack of DVD at launch. The page also confirms the release date of November 20th, with plans for a nationwide event beforehand. Price expectations are mentioned, aiming for the 20,000 yen range, a critical point for market acceptance. They anticipate at least 5 launch titles, with Sega providing a couple and others being licensed. A screenshot from the game D is included, hinting at potential titles. This thorough verification highlights the promising hardware capabilities and Sega's strategy for the upcoming launch. This page dives deeper into the specifics of the Dreamcast hardware, starting with its design and size, noting its minimalist aesthetic and compact dimensions despite an internal power supply, contrasting it with other systems like the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 shown for comparison. It highlights the absence of a physical reset switch, suggesting this function will be handled electrically, perhaps through button combinations. A key feature discussed is the built-in modem,
a standard inclusion supporting data transfer speeds above 3.6K, building on Sega's history with online capabilities. When it comes to compatibility with the Sega Saturn, the page confirms there is none, acknowledging the vast library of Saturn titles but stating porting them would significantly increase the console's price. Instead, the plan is for the Dreamcast and Saturn to coexist on the market for a period. The page also touches upon the popular character Sagata Sanshiro, suggesting his role will evolve from a mascot to supporting the new hardware, referencing a producer's comments and promotional efforts. Finally, there's a unique segment analyzing the Dreamcast's fate, almost like a character reading, describing it as a positive, creative entity that needs more software and developer support to overcome potential future anxieties, despite being welcomed by both users and manufacturers. This page dissects the Dreamcast controller, presenting it as an evolution of the Saturn pad with enhanced features. It details the button layout, including the D-pad, face buttons A, B, X, Y, analog L and R triggers, and the start button. A significant design element is the presence of 2 expansion slots on the back. The article touches upon the controller's lineage, discussing the shift to a 4-button layout and the cross-shaped D-pad, noting potential patent considerations associated with this design. Physical comparisons are made to controllers from the Saturn, Nintendo 64, and PlayStation, highlighting the Dreamcast controller's larger size, particularly when accessories are attached to the central slot, which the text suggests can impact stability. Compatibility with previous Saturn peripherals is confirmed as non-existent. The dual expansion slots are a key point, enabling simultaneous use of accessories like the visual memory unit and potentially a vibration pack. This capability is seen as opening doors for diverse future peripherals beyond just memory, such as cameras and microphones, a prospect discussed with input from accessory manufacturers. Finally, the distinctive orange spiral logo of the Dreamcast is explained as symbolizing infinite possibilities in the universe and digital entertainment. This page provides a detailed look at the Dreamcast's visual memory unit, or VMU. It highlights that the VMU is more than just a standard memory card, evolving into a communication tool with its own LCD screen and buttons, similar in concept to the PlayStation's Pocket Station. When plugged into the Dreamcast controller, the VMU can act as a personal viewer, displaying private information like card hands or character stats during gameplay, suggesting new possibilities for party games. Its portability is a key feature, allowing players to take their game saves and virtual characters with them. 2 VMUs can be linked directly for data exchange, character battles, and even combining creatures, reminiscent of popular portable monster-raising games of the era. The article also hints at broader data exchange possibilities with other devices like arcade machines and mobile phones. Featured is Gather Godzilla, Monster Encyclopedia, a game released on the VMU where you raise, battle, and breed various Godzilla monsters. There's also a note about a special VMU available through a Jomo card promotion, which was advertised subtly before the Dreamcast's official reveal. The next page delves into the core of the Dreamcast, focusing on its main CPU, the Hitachi SH4. This chip was a significant leap forward, boasting performance metrics like 360 MIPS and 1.4 G-flops, which the article proudly states is over 15 times faster than the SH2 processor used in the Sega Saturn. The technical prowess is explained, highlighting its superscalar architecture, enabling it to process multiple instructions concurrently, a major boost over older designs like the SH3, as shown in the execution diagram. It also traces the lineage of the Super Sealish RISC engine family, starting with the Sealish 1, noted as the first single-chip RISC microcontroller. The family evolved through the SH2 and SH3, integrating features like DSP functions, making them versatile for various embedded applications beyond gaming, including industrial control, automotive systems, and multimedia devices. The SH4 built upon this foundation, designed specifically to offer high performance necessary for consoles while managing constraints like power consumption, a critical balance for console design. This CPU truly powered the Dreamcast's impressive graphical capabilities for its time. This page continues the deep dive into the Dreamcast's main CPU, the SIG-4, presented through an interview format, featuring Chief Engineer Yoshiyuki Miwa from Hitachi. The discussion highlights the SH4 as the powerful brain fitting for the next generation, significantly outperforming the Saturn's SH2 processors. Mr. Miwa explains the importance of cutting-edge process technology, noting the SATURN 4 is manufactured using a 0.25 micrometers rule,
which aids in reducing power consumption and manufacturing costs. The article then addresses the partnership between Sega and Hitachi regarding the SuperSH family, confirming the SESH4's role as a compatible upgrade from the SESH2, leveraging existing software assets and development knowledge. The conversation also touches upon the role of the Power 2 graphics processor alongside the SESH4. Mr. Miwa describes the rendering process as a workflow, separating it into calculation, handled by the CPU, and drawing. The SESH4's design makes it easy for programmers to transition from previous generations and utilize the hardware efficiently. Technical specifications are presented, showing the SESH4 running at 200 MHz, achieving 360 MIPS and 1.4 GFLOPS with its integrated FPU and 128-bit graphic engine. It features a cache configuration and operates on a 0.25 micrometers CMOS process. The interview concludes by emphasizing the SESH4's versatility, intended not just for game consoles but as a general-purpose CPU for a wide range of applications, making it a standard for future devices. This page features a special discussion immediately following the Dreamcast announcement event. It brings together two major figures in the game industry: Yoshiki Okamoto, the Managing Director and Development Division Manager at Capcom, known for his work on titles like Street Fighter and Resident Evil, and Wataru Kuriyama from Sega AM3 Lab, the producer behind the iconic mech fighting series Virtual On. Remarkably, this is the first time these two creators have met. The article captures their candid initial reactions, opinions, and suggestions regarding Sega's new console, the Dreamcast. While the excitement from the reveal is still fresh, they touch upon how Sega seems to be presenting a changed image, moving forward decisively. The discussion delves into their impressions of the hardware's capabilities, specifically mentioning the specs and how they believe it will be beneficial for developers, providing ample room for creativity and leveraging existing knowledge from previous systems. It's a fascinating look at how leading developers viewed the potential of Sega's next big hardware push right out of the gate. This page continues the fascinating first meeting between Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto and Sega's Wataru Kuriyama, diving deeper into their impressions of the Dreamcast. Okamoto is visibly enthusiastic, stating the hardware feels leaps and bounds ahead of anything before, finally allowing developers to realize previously unattainable visions. He specifically highlights the surprisingly fast CPU and believes the system offers unprecedented creative freedom. The discussion touches upon Capcom's expertise in 2D fighting games, with Okamoto expressing confidence that even demanding titles like Street Fighter II, mentioning the third Impact iteration, would be successfully portable to the Dreamcast, which wasn't possible on prior hardware. Kuriyama discusses the challenges and successes of bringing arcade experiences home, referencing the Virtual On series, a screenshot of which is featured, and the potential the Dreamcast holds. They also debate the practical implications of the built-in modem, suggesting early uses might lean towards features like online score rankings, rather than full competitive gameplay. A screenshot from Capcom's massive hit, Resident Evil 2, is also shown, perhaps hinting at future possibilities. Both industry veterans convey a strong sense of optimism regarding the Dreamcast's capabilities and its potential impact on the gaming landscape. This page continues the discussion between Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto and Sega's Wataru Kuriyama, featuring photos of both men and a clear shot of the Dreamcast controller. Kuriyama reflects on the challenges and frustrations of porting games like Virtua onto the Sega Saturn's X-Band, expressing regret over the lack of promotion and the separate release strategy for different versions despite his staff's hard work. Both industry veterans emphasize that successful development relies more on the team's spirit and resolve than just hitting deadlines and budgets. Okamoto strongly asserts Capcom's commitment to quality and brand image, controversially stating that arcade ports, particularly for a title hinted at by the humorous headline, Part-Time Hazard 2i, Big Recruitment at 1,600 yen per hour, are often not commercial ventures but rather driven by a dedication to quality. He explains that they even hire skilled external staff at higher costs to ensure their games, including ports, meet their high standards, fostering a mutual goal of creating good stuff. A separate section addresses the Dreamcast controller's design, specifically its 4 face buttons, questioning how well this layout will suit Capcom's renowned fighting game series. They briefly touch on the Dreamcast's built-in modem, suggesting its initial uses might be focused on simpler data exchange features like score rankings or unlocking items rather than complex online multiplayer. This page continues the insightful discussion between Yoshiki Okamoto and Wataru Kuriyama. The focus shifts to the potential of the Dreamcast's visual memory unit,
shown prominently in the center display, which they see as offering exciting possibilities beyond simple data storage, such as enabling small minigames or character customization that can be carried around. They also address the question of the Dreamcast controller's 4 face buttons, particularly how this might impact fighting games, suggesting that future game design might adapt to utilize the shoulders buttons, LN Pryon, more effectively. The conversation touches upon upcoming games, with Okamoto hinting at Capcom's desire to make Resident Evil 3, Nemesis, and briefly mentioning the House of the Dead, 2i. A striking image of a character, unmistakably a high-definition model from Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, is displayed, underscoring the discussion of advanced graphics and hardware capabilities. Okamoto concludes by expressing his philosophy that creating something truly new is essential, especially when facing challenges. He mentions that while Nintendo might have historically held an advantage in certain areas, possibly referring to development cost or efficiency, referencing a 4:6 ratio, the landscape is changing. This page concludes the feature on the Dreamcast, continuing the discussion with Yoshiki Okamoto and Wataru Kuriyama. A large headline uses a metaphor, suggesting that predicting future success based on past performance, like forecasting pro baseball wins from the previous year, is pointless when looking ahead to the Dreamcast's potential. The text expands upon the capabilities and vision for the new console, building on the previous page's points about the VMU and controller design. Photos show Okamoto and Kuriyama in playful poses, highlighting the relaxed nature of their conversation. A prominent section titled Afterward declares that ultimately, the success of the Dreamcast hinges on the quality of its software. This underscores the critical importance of game development for the new platform. Below this, a clear image displays the Dreamcast console, its unique controller, and the innovative visual memory unit. A small present section offers readers a chance to win a commemorative coaster featuring an illustration by Okamoto, highlighting a contest related to the discussion. This page continues the discussion about the Dreamcast, featuring an interview with Koichi Nakamura, the representative director of Chunsoft. The headline asks about the company's response to the Dreamcast and the future of their titles on the platform. Nakamura shares his initial impressions of the Dreamcast, noting the excitement around its unveiling. The interview delves into the potential for Machi 2, Provisional, a potential sequel to their popular sound novel on the SEGA Saturn. He discusses the possibility of utilizing the Dreamcast's enhanced hardware for the next game in the series, musing on how the experience might differ. The conversation also touches upon Chunsoft's other flagship series, the Mystery Dungeon games. Nakamura expresses interest in the Dreamcast's communication capabilities and how they could potentially be integrated into the Mystery Dungeon formula, suggesting exciting new possibilities for connecting players. The page highlights Chunsoft's cautious but forward-looking approach to the new console, acknowledging the time and effort required for their complex titles, particularly sound novels like Machi. Despite this, there's a clear sense of anticipation for what the Dreamcast's capabilities could offer, their unique style of game development. This page continues the feature on software makers' expectations for the Dreamcast, focusing here on SNK. The major announcement is the upcoming release of the Neo Geo Pocket, Spink's new portable game machine, which is planned to link with the Dreamcast. The Neo Geo Pocket, set for release in autumn, will be a 16-bit portable with a grayscale LCD display, retailing for 6,800 yen. SNK plans to have approximately 15 titles available by next spring, including fighting games like The King of Fighters 97, a screenshot of which is shown. Crucially, the Neo Geo Pocket will connect to the Dreamcast via a separate adapter, allowing players to link games and exchange data, promising exciting new gameplay possibilities beyond what was previously possible. Interviews with Sonk's Koichiro Takatsu and President Ikezawa highlight the company's enthusiasm for this connectivity. They see the Neo Geo Pocket linking with the Dreamcast as a way to offer users entirely new ways to play, and are actively exploring the potential this collaboration creates. This page delves into the perspectives of more software developers regarding the Dreamcast. Featured prominently is Toshio Tabata, chief producer at NEC Interchannel, known for titles like Friends, /Matrix, and Welcome to Pia Carrot 2. He gives a positive first impression of the Dreamcast, noting that while he knew the specs beforehand, seeing the actual hardware was impressive. He discusses the hardware's capabilities, particularly the Power GVAR 2 graphics, highlighting how it expands creative possibilities for developers, especially with lighting and CG effects. He feels the Dreamcast is a well-rounded game machine. Elsewhere on the page, Namco states they are currently gathering information as a multi-platform developer before making a decision on Dreamcast support. Atlus expresses a positive view on the Dreamcast's image and its potential. They are interested in developing content that fully utilizes the hardware's power and mention the Shin Megami Tensei series, though they aren't ready to announce anything specific yet, encouraging SEGA to push forward. The general sentiment across these companies is cautious optimism and interest in the Dreamcast's potential, particularly its technical capabilities. This page continues the deep dive into the Dreamcast's potential, focusing on perspectives from software companies. First up is Motohide Tabeta of Enix, who discusses their view. He notes the high specifications are impressive and a significant step up from previous hardware. While the hardware is strong, he emphasizes that widespread adoption hinges on the software available. Enix is taking a wait-and-see approach regarding participation, specifically looking for the hardware to gain traction. As a publisher, they are more interested in finding developers to create innovative, perhaps networked, titles that showcase the hardware's capabilities. He believes the launch lineup needs strong titles to make an impact.
Next, Hiroshi Shimura of Koei shares his thoughts. He describes the Dreamcast as a high-performance machine, highlighting the adoption of Windows CE and the built-in modem as significant advantages, especially for network gaming. Koei sees great potential in network games, particularly mentioning their plans for a Romance of the Three Kingdoms network game. He feels the Dreamcast is a solid game machine focused on delivering engaging experiences for a wider audience, not just core fans. Koei has decided to participate and is committed to delivering enjoyable titles to players. This page continues the discussion on the Dreamcast from the viewpoint of different software makers. First, Konami's Motohide Kitakami shares his impressions. He notes the hardware specs are an improvement over previous machines, particularly mentioning the use of Windows CE as the OS. He believes this makes porting from PCs easier. Konami plans to release original titles, not just ports, striving to deliver something unique that only the Dreamcast can offer to make a strong impact. Next, Sunsoft representatives Hiroshi Takahashi and Hideaki Takahashi weigh in. They were impressed by the demonstration of the hardware's image processing capabilities, seeing a significant leap from older systems. They feel the STESH 4 and PowerVR 2, along with Windows CE, make porting from PC straightforward, which gives them confidence in development. Sunsoft aims to use the hardware's power to deliver amazement to users, creating titles that push creative boundaries. Finally, Data East's Takashi Kobayashi and Hideto Miyashita offered their perspective. They found the Dreamcast a well-designed machine, praising the standard modem and memory options. They agree that the Windows CE adoption makes development and porting easier. From a graphics standpoint, they are excited about the ability to bring their vision to life on screen. From the sales side, Data East hopes to release software quickly after launch, mentioning titles like the Magical Drop series, and are anticipating the future of Dreamcast development. This page features interviews with representatives from Hudson and Banpresto regarding their impressions of the Sega Dreamcast and future development plans. First up is Naoki Hirai, Hudson's PR manager. Following the Dreamcast announcement, Hudson confirms they are indeed developing for the console, although specific details are still under wraps. Hirai discusses the market potential, the expected price range of the hardware, and emphasizes Hudson's long-standing pioneering spirit, having been the first to invest heavily in CAD-ROM-based games. He also touches upon the importance of online features and Hudson's ongoing research in that area. Next is Toshihiro Kani, General Manager of Banpresto's Consumer Software Business Division. He is impressed with the Dreamcast's hardware capabilities, including its graphics and sound, but notes that the visual leap isn't as dramatic as the jump from 16-bit to 32-bit systems. Kani praises the standard modem and PDA features. He finds the development environment, using a Windows OS, to be user-friendly. While development is underway, no specific titles or timelines are mentioned, though he hints that a title like Super Robot Wars could be a major possibility, discussing the challenges of bringing the series' characteristic animation style to 3Ds on the new hardware. This page features an interview with Shinya Nishigaki, the representative director of the newly formed company Climax Graphics, discussing their debut on the Dreamcast. Climax Graphics was founded specifically to focus on high-quality CG, branching off from the original Climax. At the May 21st Dreamcast announcement event, a video showcasing their work was shown, marking their official debut for the console. Nishigaki explains their upcoming title is a real-time movie action adventure. He describes the game experience as similar to playing a Hollywood movie, where players must overcome fear and hardship like the main character. He emphasizes the goal of achieving highly realistic graphics in real time on the Dreamcast. The interview covers the company's founding in late 1996, stemming from the recognition of the need for high-quality CG after working on titles like Dark Savior on the Saturn. Development on their Dreamcast title is well underway, currently around 50% complete, with a goal to reveal more information, likely the title and details, this summer once they reach about 70% completion. The page includes a photo of Nishigaki and a glimpse of a 3D creature model, hinting at the game's content. Climax Graphics is aiming to maximize the Dreamcast's capabilities to deliver a game with high visual impact and intense action, pushing the boundaries beyond previous hardware generations.
This page features well-known personalities, offering their support and insights regarding the upcoming Dreamcast console. The main focus is on talent Hikaru Ijuin, who shares his expectations and opinions. He reflects on the significant internet buzz surrounding the system and the surprising information that emerged. Comparing it to previous hardware like the Saturn and PlayStation, he acknowledges the technical capabilities but stresses that ultimate success hinges on strong software and effective marketing, believing the critical period will be the first 3 months after launch. Ijuin muses on the value of console internet versus having a PC, but sees potential in Sega's dedicated network services. He advocates for collaboration between Nintendo and Sega for a healthier industry, humorously suggesting people will simply get used to the Dreamcast name over time. A side panel highlights the VMU, suggesting early distribution due to its potential features like virtual pets and arcade linking. The page includes a photo of Hikaru Ijuin and a prominent image of the Dreamcast console with its controller and VMU. This page presents opinions on the Dreamcast launch from 3 personalities. Izumi Takemoto admires the console's size and controller design, though laments the lack of a second analog stick. They're hopeful for original software but wary of the price. Hideji Ohishi recalls past console launches and believes the Dreamcast needs compelling original software to succeed, emphasizing the importance of exciting both players and developers. Ami Shibata eagerly anticipates fresh, original titles across various genres, believing engaging gameplay is crucial for the console's success, much like a restaurant needs good food to attract customers. Each personality is accompanied by a distinct illustration.
This page is a celebration of Spank's presence, highlighting their directly managed entertainment facilities and the excitement around Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. It promotes the Neo Geo World Theme Park in Ibaraki and the Neo Geo Bowling Alley in Kanazawa Hake, Kanagawa, offering details on their attractions and operations. There's a comment from Mr. Umemoto at SNK reflecting on the importance of the process in competitive gaming, using the RB2 tournament as context. Breaking news reveals the results of the Real Bout Fatal Fury 2 national tournament, stating that the regional champions have been decided, and the national winner was Yuichi Hashimoto. The page also features a collection of fantastic illustrations submitted by fans from across Japan, showcasing their love for Real Bout Fatal Fury 2 and its characters like Terry and Daddy Bogard, Mai Shiranui, and Duck King, proving the game's popularity extends beyond the arcades.
This page continues the focus on Swank's presence, showcasing more of their entertainment facilities across Japan. Descriptions are provided for Neo Geo Bowl locations in Chiba, Fukui, Kumamoto, and Miyagi prefectures, highlighting that these centers offer more than just bowling, including extensive game corners, karaoke rooms, and dining options like cafes or Italian restaurants, expanding Spank's footprint in leisure entertainment. The Hyper Billiard feature is also mentioned as being introduced or planned for some locations. The page also explains Hyper Bowl, described as a unique bowling experience utilizing lights on pins and walls, lasers, and special BGM from Avex, offering a fantastical visual effect. This demonstrates Spank's innovation even in traditional leisure activities. Furthermore, the popular Freaks section returns with a special feature on fan illustrations dedicated to Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, mirroring the previous page's celebration of the game. Several reader-submitted artworks are showcased, featuring beloved characters such as Blue Mary, Terry Bogard, Billy Kane, Alfred, and Ching Lim. The commentary accompanying the illustrations expresses appreciation for the artist's skill and creativity, highlighting the fans' passion for the game's characters. The page concludes by inviting readers to submit their own free illustrations for future features.
This page dives deep into the arcade version of Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, a hugely popular fighting game. The focus here is on mastering advanced techniques, specifically the half-cancel for center weapons. As any seasoned Virtualon player knows, managing your weapon gauge is crucial, and this technique allows you to fire only one side of a paired symmetrical attack,
like missiles or beams, saving vital energy compared to launching the full assault. The page breaks down which virtual attackeroids can effectively use this half-cancel. You'll find details on Cypher's beams, APHARMD, the Striker's grenades, where the properties change based on which trigger is used.
Raiden's powerful lasers, even from various movement states, Grisbox missiles, and Barbados Earls and lasers. Screenshots illustrate how these attacks look when half-cancelled. Learning these specific applications for each mecha is key to optimizing your attacks and conserving resources in the heat of battle, demonstrating that while it requires the full gauge to initiate, the potential savings are significant. It's an essential skill for anyone looking to compete seriously in the arcade. This page continues our deep dive into the arcade powerhouse, Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, by breaking down another essential advanced technique, the crouching right turbo shot. As any top-tier Virtualon pilot knows, crouching offers unique attack options, and combining it with the right turbo shot and triggering the left, center, or right weapons unlocks 3 distinct, powerful moves for each Virtuoid. The page meticulously details these 3 variations for several key mechs, including Temujin, the iconic Raiden, the agile Feiyan the Knight, the versatile Cypher, and the heavy hitter APHARMD the Battler. For each character, it explains the properties of their left, center, and right, crouching right turbo shots, whether it's a unique projectile, a defensive maneuver, or a devastating melee burst. Screenshots visually illustrate these attacks in action, making it easy to see the effect of each trigger input. There's also a helpful tip section on the precise timing required to execute this move reliably. Mastering these character-specific techniques is crucial for high-level play, offering unexpected options and damage outputs that can turn the tide of battle. This page explores advanced combat techniques in Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, focusing on special attacks performed after crouching or during a turbo shot. The guide details the unique movesets of several Virtuoids. A Pharmashad the Striker employs bombs, grenades, and rapid-fire shots. Dorbre uses a drill, Hurricane, and a flamethrower. Angelin utilizes ice pillars, ice dragons, and an ice chain. Barbados deploys mines, angled lasers, and ring lasers. Spesinef uses a light projectile, scythe wave, and a light sword. Finally, Grisvok unleashes a fire pillar/missile combo, a self-damaging mushroom cloud missile, and rapid-fire missiles. Mastering these character-specific attacks adds strategic depth to gameplay. This page continues the advanced tactical breakdown for Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, focusing on specific Virtuoids. Part 3 covers Dordre, Cypher, and Apharma HDB, detailing their strengths and recommended combat strategies. Dordre is highlighted for its balance of strong defense and offense, utilizing its Versus, Hurricane, and drill attacks to inflict damage, and its Doral Ball projectile to block incoming fire. Its melee is particularly effective when attacking from the side. Cypher excels in aerial combat and beam weaponry. Its homing beams can split, and its right turbo transforms its beam Vulcan into a laser capable of quickly reducing opponent armor. Strategic movement in the air is key to evading attacks with Cypher. Apharma HDB offers versatile performance at mid to long range with its napalm and grenade-like left weapon and scattering pellet right turbo. The page notes its powerful tonfa for close combat, especially when used from a crouching stance. Screenshots illustrate key moments, like Dordre's V Hurricane attack, Cypher engaging airborne enemies with beams, and Apharma HDB deploying its ranged ordnance. The guide emphasizes understanding each Virtuoid's unique capabilities to succeed in battle. This page features the third part of a special interview with the development team behind Sega Rally 2, focusing on the design of the arcade cabinet. Eishi Nishimura, the cabinet design lead, shares his satisfaction with the challenging project, while Minoru Matsuba, the cabinet designer, details the efforts to create a realistic driving experience through movement, vibration, and sound integration. He explains the challenges faced in making the cabinet convey the feel of rally driving, coordinating with the sound design team. Tomoyuki Kawamura, the Sound & C lead, discusses his involvement from the project's early stages and creating specific sound effects like gravel noises that correspond to gameplay. The page also showcases early concept art for the cabinet, revealing how the design evolved from initial ideas that resembled actual rally cars to the distinctive pipe frame structure used in the final arcade machine, driven by both design goals and practical realities. This page continues the interview with the Sega Rally 2 arcade cabinet development team, featuring multiple diagrams showcasing the cabinet from different angles, highlighting its distinctive pipe frame design. The developers discuss the challenges and decisions made during the design process. Minoru Matsuba elaborates on the coloring, aiming for a tougher image inspired by old rally cars, and ensuring sponsor logos were prominent. He also touches on the struggles with integrating the side brake. Tomoyuki Kawamura emphasizes that the sound design goes beyond simple effects. It's integral to the gameplay experience, aiming for players to feel the driving-through sound. Eishi Nishimura expresses his hope that players appreciate the cabinet and treat it with care, feeling a sense of personal connection to it. An information box announces that Sega Rally 2 has been available for 2 months, noting the fierce competition among players worldwide for the best times on the official website's BBS. They are planning an official time attack event soon and encourage players to practice. Finally, the page includes a call for readers to send in mail and questions about AM Division and the Flatout feature. This page shifts focus to Sega AM1's exciting new arcade title, Dynamite Cop 2. This action game, running on the powerful Model 2 board, was recently showcased at a private event and is reported to be around 80% complete, with a planned arcade launch in June. The article highlights the game's diverse mission approaches, particularly for the first stage, allowing players to infiltrate the target from the air, sea, or even underwater. The levels themselves feature varied environments, moving from intense indoor combat in the early parts of Mission 1 to sprawling battles on a mysterious island and a pirate ship later on. Impressively rendered insertion demos punctuate the gameplay, enhancing the narrative and showcasing characters like Caroline. The combat ramps up, featuring bizarre and challenging enemies, including a massive Kraken boss and the titular, sexy hard-boiled pirates, promising plenty of intense action. Mission 1 of Dynamite Cop 2 begins with an airborne infiltration onto a ship. The player, Bruno, parachutes onto the deck and must battle through various areas including a playroom, barbershop, cargo room, freezer, restaurant, stairway, and engine room. Each area presents unique challenges and enemy types, requiring strategic use of weapons and environmental awareness. The mission culminates in boss battles. The pirate cook and Madame Yan are fought on deck, followed by Chef Poirot de Saikai, and finally, a massive Kraken in the engine room. After defeating the bosses, the terrorists escape the exploding ship to a hidden island, hinting at future challenges. The article ends with a cliffhanger, promising details on the island, specifically the pirate tiger's den, in the next issue. This page features a promotional spread for Time Boken Complete Works 2, The Flower of Evil, a book delving into the popular Time Boken anime series, which originally began in 1975 and spanned 7 works over 9 years. The prominent cover art features the iconic villain Doranjo from Yatterman, highlighting the book's focus on the antagonist characters. The book is the second volume in the series, and, as the title suggests, puts the spotlight squarely on the villains. It promises to cover the charm of the Time Boken series without holding back, specifically featuring the Evil Trio, consisting of Doranjo, Boyaki, and Tanzura, their mecha designs, and gag introductions, addressing aspects not fully covered in the first volume. Next are several framed screenshots and character illustrations from various Time Boken installments, showcasing the diverse cast of villains and their unique mechanical creations, like the rabbit and pig mecha. The book is published by SoftBank and is planned for release in late June, priced at 1,600 yen, with 136 pages. This looks like a must-have for fans of the classic Tatsunoko villain teams. This page features a weekly horoscope spread titled This Week's Fortune Telling by Mother Hakozaki, covering the period from June 5th to June 18th. A hand-drawn illustration depicts the eponymous fortune teller. Highlighting the week's fortune is the lucky person, identified as Mizuki Tohno, from Super Real Mahjong P5. The text notes that someone born on June 26th will find that efforts related to an admirer will lead to significant positive change. Mizuki's luck is detailed across categories, including money, health, work/study, and love. The main part of the page is dedicated to the 12 zodiac signs, each presented with a small, charming illustration. For every sign, there are separate readings and accompanying character illustrations for males and females, offering tailored advice for the week. At the bottom, a small key indicates the meaning of colored illustrations within the horoscope sections: green for good, yellow for so-so,
purple for bad. The page concludes with a copyright from SEGA Company, Limited, dating back to 1994, 1995, and the page number. This page features the Urawaza no Kyoku reader-submitted Tips and Techniques Corner, celebrating expert Saturn players. Prizes, including Saturn software and book vouchers, are awarded for the top secrets. The focus is on hidden techniques for 2 games. First, for GT24, there are commands to unlock extra difficulty settings and time options. Inputting a specific sequence on the title screen, while press start is displayed, allows access. The page also reveals how to unlock 3 hidden cars in GT24. After successfully activating the difficulties time trick, use the Start button instead of the usual A or C buttons when selecting your game mode. Screenshots show the title screen input and the car selection screen. Second, for Gungriffon 2, you can listen to hidden messages from characters Balurin and Lily. The method involves using the game's CD in a standard CD player or the Saturn's own player and listening to track 44. A screenshot shows the Saturn's CD player interface. Finally, the section encourages readers to submit their own discovered Saturn secrets for a chance to be featured and win prizes. This page features the SEGA Saturn Weekly Soft Review, showcasing upcoming software before release. It includes insights from female users, regular writers, and guest reviewers. The first game highlighted is AI Shogi 2. Scheduled for release on June 11th, with an average score of 6.33, reviews suggest it might be a bit challenging for beginners, but offers a solid experience for those looking to enjoy the core fun of shogi. Some reviewers were hoping for more novelty in the gameplay. Next up is World Cup 98 France Road to Win, also releasing on June 11th, with an average score of 6.66. This soccer game tied to the 1998 World Cup impressed reviewers with its live commentary and was noted for having a solid algorithm. While one reviewer expressed support for the Japan national team within the game, another was surprised by the commentary quality. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Weekly Soft Review, featuring upcoming game releases with impressions from various reviewers. First up is Eberouge Special, Love and Magic School Life, a love simulation game scoring a 7.0 average. Reviewers noted the ability to transfer save data from the previous game and enjoyed the school life and dating aspects, though some found it a bit simple or repetitive. The graphics and voice acting were mentioned positively. Next is Princess Maker, Fairy Tales Come True, a raising simulation with an average score of 8.0. This latest entry in the popular series focuses on raising a daughter, offering various father occupations that significantly impact the game. Reviewers appreciated the frequent events and high-quality graphics, noting that fans of the series would enjoy it, although some felt a slight lack of novelty compared to past titles. Finally, Linda Cubed Complete, a unique sci-fi survival and hunting RPG, also scores an 8.0 average. Reviewers highlighted its distinctively dark and slightly unsettling atmosphere, and the 3 compelling intertwined stories. The survival mechanics and hunting elements were praised, as were the charming characters, excellent voice acting, and overall presentation in this complete version. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Weekly Soft Review, showcasing upcoming titles with varied reviewer impressions. First is a fishing simulation game, Murakoshi Masami's Fishing Across Japan. Reviewers enjoyed the realistic graphics and fish movements, noting the balance between game mechanics and realism. Some appreciated the game's potential as a guidebook, offering tips and location information from a fishing expert. The point system for buying lures was also highlighted as interesting. Opinions varied slightly, with scores of 8 and 7, but generally positive feedback on the core fishing experience. Next is Kari Otose, an action game focused on knocking opponents off stages. Reviewers noted the simple gameplay, which is easy to pick up for anyone, especially highlighting the Versus mode for fun multiplayer sessions. However, the polygonal graphics were found a bit rough, characters weren't seen as particularly appealing, and the overall depth seemed limited for single player. This resulted in consistent scores of 5 across the board. Finally, we have Langrisser V, The End of Legend, the conclusion to the popular simulation RPG series. Reviewers found the story and system quite complex, marking it as the most intricate in the series. While challenging, the depth was appreciated by fans. The narrative, particularly the protagonist's background, was a strong point. Despite being the final chapter, one reviewer noted it could be enjoyed without playing previous titles, though prior knowledge enhances the experience. Scores ranged from 7 to 9, reflecting its appeal to SRPG fans and series veterans. This page details a reader giveaway, offering fans a chance to win various SEGA Saturn-related prizes. Readers could apply by answering a questionnaire and providing their details. The exciting prizes include SEGA Saturn software, 20 winners, merchandise like a letter set and pen case featuring the character Domino-kun, a music CD and yo-yo set for the challenging snow sports title, Steep Slope Sliders, and even telephone cards featuring artwork from Langrisser V, The End of Legend, which we just reviewed. It's cool to see them tie merchandise like the Steep Slope Sliders soundtrack and Langrisser art into the giveaway, extending the experience beyond just the games. The page also lists winners from a previous giveaway and provides contact information for magazine inquiries, along with the release date for the next issue. This page highlights Eberouge Special, a love training simulation game available on both PlayStation and SEGA Saturn. The main visual features a beautiful anime illustration of a blonde woman with flowing hair set against a large moon. The game promises, "I'll teach you the magic of love," suggesting a romantic focus within an academy setting, as indicated by the subtitle, Academy Life of a Commoner. The text emphasizes that this version reunites players with characters who are a little more grown-up, and includes numerous new events not present in the original PC release, adding fresh content for fans. Below the main image, a group illustration showcases the diverse cast of female characters you can interact with. The page also includes smaller screenshots or character portraits, giving a glimpse into the game's visuals and potential scenarios. A section lists the Japanese voice actors for the characters, indicating full voiceover for the cast. This title was released simultaneously on PlayStation and SEGA Saturn on June 11, 1997. This page marks a pivotal moment, proudly announcing Sega's next-generation console. The page is dominated by the iconic orange spiral logo of the Dreamcast, with the bold black Dreamcast title positioned directly below it, followed by the TM symbol. The text underneath the logo declares, "Everything will be everyone's" on November 20th, signifying the console's eagerly anticipated Japanese release date of November 20th, 1998. The vertical text along the right edge confirms. This is from SEGA Saturn Magazine, issue volume .19, published on June 26, 1998, and highlights the Dreamcast as a major featured topic. The bottom of the page includes standard publication details, confirming it's printed in Japan, and listing the magazine's price at 420 yen. This is a straightforward yet powerful reveal page, focusing entirely on the impending launch of the Dreamcast.